It's Judgment Day here at the Intel Esports Arena in Burbank, California. Some teams will be solidifying their ticket to Odense today, and some teams will unfortunately be QQing themselves all the way to the bank by not making it to the LAN. But today is the day that we find out exactly who the 6 teams are qualifying for the North American region. Here on the Xfinity Analyst Desk, I'm joined by my friends in Eric and Marcus, or James RL. It's really what you
Are you saying today is the only day we can be judgmental? Because you call it Judgment Day. I feel like we've been judgmental every day the whole season, and we continue to do that today.
And not only in the season, but in our daily lives.
The stakes
when we
are
talk
just
to each other.
Yeah, the stakes are just higher now.
The stakes are higher, and ultimately, I think when you guys do judge a little bit, I mean.
Oh, you guys. So now it's us.
It's us. It's only us, not anyone else in this world or room.
That's basically what I was thinking. We can go ahead and switch the gears up, though, because right now you need to be painting the picture for who is even possibly going to Denmark. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings as our first run-through of the show right here. Boys, talk to me a little bit about what we see in terms of this last day in the season, James.
So let's give them the brass tacks. First, how many teams make it to the LAN from NA?
6.
Right, so that's fundamental number 1. 6 teams are going to LAN. How many of those teams in the top 6 are solidified, guaranteed going? Who?
3.
Right now there's 3.
3.
Right, correct. Which are the top 3, obviously? So that means Misfits, CLG, and NRG are not set in stone. And what that means is that C9 and Luminosity are still fighting.
They have a chance.
Right? And when they have a chance, people have hope, and they become happy. So C9 still has a chance, although some things have to fall into place, and then Luminosity has an even smaller chance.
Minuscule is the word I would use.
Right, and we'll go into the specifics of that later.
Oh, will we?
Yes.
Yes, we will. You know what? He's on to something. You know who's not really on to anything, especially not on to the Pro League next season, is going to be Ghost Gaming. They're going to be sending themselves back down to the Mountain Dew League, as they did not have that much of performance here. Quite a turbulent season for them all around. We do know some roster things that had happened over there at that camp. What is your take on them going back to Mountain Dew League?
I think, for me personally, just to say that have a stable roster, because a lot of changes, especially the Pro League, is going to be detrimental to the team unless you hit some kind of star, luck kind of.
Well, I was saying that it was going to be hairy from the perspective of that they have Ghost Academy, who's going to make it to playoffs in MDL. So if they're getting pushed down to the league where their academy team is already in the playoffs, like that's kind of
switcheroo.
That's kind of like oxymoronic in concept, right? You want your non-academy team, the pro team, to be the one who's higher up in a league. So I think we're going to see some interesting things there. But we're not going to be watching them playing today.
And we're not going to be watching them in Denmark either. For the finals of ESL Pro League Season 6, heading to Odense, or you know what, honestly, I'm probably saying it wrong in both fashions. But nonetheless, you know where the Pro League finals are going to be, and you should go ahead and grab your tickets if you haven't thus far. Now, guys, I'm going to throw it out there that there's one team, at least one team, perhaps 2, that are right on the cusp, but no longer control their fate. Let's talk a little bit of Cloud9 and a little bit of Luminosity.
So Cloud9, we know that they need at least 2 wins to even have a chance. Not only that, CLG or NRG have to go 0-2 for C9 to advance. So that's not good odds in terms of Energy playing Immortals, when Immortals is in Brazil, I think, still, with their ping. So it doesn't look good for C9.
Well, the most that they can garner up now is 44 today, which, again, leaves the fate not in their hands. The magic number is 45 to find themselves punching a ticket to Denmark. But let's go ahead and take a look at today's matches. All 7 games going on at one time. It is the place to be. James, what do you take away from today's matches?
Can you just fill in the audience one more thing before we go on? Is why are they played at the same time? There is a reason. It's not just for fun.
I'm going to leave that one up to you. Go for it, James.
It's because a lot of the matches are dependent on each other, and if they were at different times, teams could influence outcomes.
Potentially.
You're right? So we don't want that to be a possibility. We want a good, clean fight here at ESEA Pro League Season 6. And you know, it's coming down to crunch time.
Again, every team is playing today, and ultimately we're trying to find out who's going to be taking that wintertime trip over to Denmark. So, again, we're going to go ahead and look at the standings here in North America, so that way, again, you guys can throw it out there.
Let's talk about the fact that a lot of these teams that are still, you know, don't have a solid footing of going to playoffs, they're playing in a tournament just down the road from us today. So they've already played. Cloud9's already played against NRG today, right? Obviously, they're not facing off against each other tonight, but their fates are somewhat intertwined, such that Cloud9 would, you know, benefit from NRG going 0-2 today, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, Cloud9 doesn't really want misfortune for other people, but they need it in order to go to LAN. So it's a little bit of happiness in somebody else's loss today for some teams, unfortunately.
So in order for them to be happy, teams like
in that aspect,
NRG has to be sad.
I don't think any self-respecting human being is truly happy when somebody else is sad.
Well, I don't know about you two, and sometimes we've talked about things that might say otherwise. Excuse me, otherwise. I think the thing to talk about here is going to be LG and Rogue. Yeah. I mean, let's just go ahead and kick it off right there. Rogue having not quite a performance that I think anyone can say that, hey, they expected Rogue to come in here and win the season. But ultimately, on the other side, we see Luminosity coming in with a strong start and kind of slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, through the mid-late end of the season, kind of dropped the ball on the last couple matches.
Who are you talking about?
Luminosity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, towards the middle of the season when Immortals were kind of having their downfall, Luminosity was a team trying to take their place as the #2 team. Obviously, you want #1, but until you get #1, you got to go to, you know, 2 and
yeah, they kind of quietly, like, you know, coming into this last week, the fact that they had a decent chance of getting to playoffs at the beginning of this week, obviously it's kind of gotten smaller. I was pretty happily surprised with LG's effort over the course of the season, right? It'd be pretty hard to place them in the top 6 just given the other names out there.
Well, they can still technically make it to the LAN. However, they do have a losing head-to-head with the teams in contention. So that alone puts them in a sort of weird situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they, like, similar to Cloud9, they need to go 2-0, and they also need CLG and NRG to both go 0-2. Right,
it's just, it doesn't look like a very favorable situation. It's very
possible, right? So we're going to see a good effort out of them, but it's really low probability.
Low probability. However, the other again, we do have 7 matches going on at one time, so we're trying to run you guys through the storylines and let you know exactly what works out for who and what works out for somebody else. Mm-hmm. Inversely, where someone's sad and someone's happy, opposingly to each other. But
life.
Yeah, that's life. But ultimately, we're looking at Energy and Immortals in our next storyline for us to kind of touch on here. Now, an interesting place, Energy with 41 points. Again, the magic number is 45.
So they secure LAN guaranteed if they get 2-0, right?
Essentially, that would be what?
Because they have 41, 45 is 4 away, right? So they need they need a little bit more than a win. If they do get 1 win, then it becomes very, very likely, but it's not 100% with 1 win.
Well, they are slated to take on the Immortals. So when we think about that, though, does that change that at all?
Well, I mean, if Immortals was here in the States with even ping, I think, yeah, it could be a potential, you know, Immortals can beat NRG, but playing with 200+ ping at a pro level, I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Kind of like a mockery.
It's
just unfortunate that it comes down to that.
Yeah.
Right, because, you know, Cloud9's obviously hopes, as well as NRG's, but more so Cloud9's hinge on Immortals performing here. Yeah. So it's just too bad.
Well, too bad indeed. Either way, we've got CLG and Splice, another one that we can kind of turn our attention to here. CLG 2 points away. Believe it or not, it's been a good season for CLG, I would say. Yeah,
well, CLG, they just missed playoffs last season, but this season they kind of came in with a new coach as Ryu is taking over, and they are in the playoff contention. So unless they drop the ball, I mean, if they get a win, I believe they...
Remind me again, did you say they missed playoffs last season?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Because I would say that most people would be of the sentiment that CLG was stronger at the end of last season than they are now. Yeah. But they didn't make playoffs last season, and a lot of the community attributes that to the effect that IMAPED had. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like you didn't make LAN, you're seen as better than you are now, but now you're making LAN. So it's like this kind of weird right?
mathematical equation.
At the end of the day, like... I'm trying to touch on the fact that like reputational understanding of how good a team is very kind of like hand wavy. It doesn't really mean that much, and CLG are obviously showing that they're a solid team, right?
And in tonight's matchup, they're going to have Splice. Therefore, if we were saying, hey, CLG is going to be playing like an SK, they're going to be coming out here playing a Liquid, but it is Splice, so there is a chance. Let's say I think it's fair.
And what is like the largest motivation for Splice to go hard in these games, aside from the fact that they're just competitors and naturally everyone wants to win every game? Like what would you say is their like ESEA Pro League motivation here?
Perhaps more dollars, more Skrilla, but you know, ultimately that's
show more
that's
promise by you know playing well.
More promise by playing well. Plus, ending the season on a high note is ultimately not a bad goal to have if you're not going to be going to the LAN and you don't want to be relegated. So
yeah, it's kind of hard to convince your teammates to come and scrim and practice in the off season if you get just lambasted in the final 2 maps. Like, oh, you guys want to come and practice a new map today? Probably not.
That's all right.
yeah, probably not. I probably don't want to remember that last matchup that we had. It was an absolute floor washer with our faces, and that cannot feel good. Either way, we're going to be focusing our attention on to the Misfits and to Cloud9 tonight. That will be the matchup that we are covering right here in front of us. Amongst all of the other matches, we're going to be trying a pretty interesting format tonight. We did it last season, so if you saw us at the last broadcast of last season, you got a treat, and you were privy to this sort of style again. And ultimately, this should pan out to be pretty cool.
I like that they have the points on the graphic, right? So you can see which team is in what place and how many points they have. And remember, what's the magic number, Eric?
45.
Right, and that's how many points above Misfits?
Need 1.
Right, and it's 7 points above C9 because they cannot get there mathematically, and that's why it is the magic number, right? So you need to get 45 or above to guarantee playoffs. Guarantee.
Guarantee is a key
Right,
word.
so if Misfits win in overtime, or no, if they lose in overtime to C9, they guarantee playoffs.
Yep.
Right
Well,
in map 1.
Even more so than that, an OT loss for Misfits does gain them 1 point, and it gives them that guarantee.
That's literally what I just said.
Well-
I don't know if that's what you're trying to do,
No.
because it is funny. I'll give you good job. I wasn't sure. You look so serious.
I'm super serious. I'm the most
Super
serious.
serial. Okay, sorry. Moving on.
All right, anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and kick up the Misfits roster and stop clowning around up here. We usually have Eric for the clowning around, but today it seems as though me and James will be walking
I'm
around
spreading it around for everybody.
with my clown nose, red clown nose and all, getting ready for Christmas time. Either way, Sean Garrett, Six, Shazam, Deba Duvek, Amanek. We could probably start by talking a little bit about the Frenchies.
Good old Deba Duvek and Amanek. At first, when they first came on the team, I didn't know too much about them, but watching them, you know, fight with the Misfits in the season, they've shown that, you know, they're here to bang. They can frag. They can really carry the team if they need to.
If they're unleashed. And I'm kind of surprised that you're not aware of them. You didn't follow his vlog from day one like me?
I'm
wow,
sorry.
I'm really
you know,
disappointed.
Listen,
Eric.
well, first of all, we're all together. We work as a team.
I was just kidding. I don't
I'm
even know
not
if he has a
kidding. I'm being
vlog.
serious. I'm being serious, okay?
But what I'm serious about is that I knew as soon as I saw Amanek play Rank S that he had the ability to frag out harder than he was last season. I think that Sean started enabling him more and giving him more freedom on strats this season because he's definitely doing better. He's having a bigger effect. And I think he, Amanek and Deba Duvek are the consistent fraggers for the team, right? So that's just how it is. They come to play, and I think we saw it earlier today, or actually in the minor, Amanek and Deba Duvek were huge against Liquid and the other teams they played against qualifying for the minor. Or qualifying for the major qualifier. It's kind of like a weird.
It's a qualifier
too many qualifiers.
for a qualifier, which you get to go to another qualifier to qualify for that one. Now we're going to be taking a look at this Cloud9 roster because that is the opposition tonight. Automatic Skadoodles 2K Rush and Tarek. Guys, let's focus now on the import duo, and by import I mean to the Cloud9 lineup, not as though they were brought from anywhere else.
Yeah.
We're going to look at Rush and Tarek. And Eric, I'm going to let you take it away.
So we've talked about Rush in the past, about he's the rock. He's a consistent person as when he plays, he does certain routes to kind of bring a little consistency to the team. And you got a player like Tarek who's just, you know, he can pick it up. He can, you know, make the good plays, and he's what, the third opera on the team, James?
I think the only real role is that Skadoodle's #1, and then there's 3 or 4 other people who actually are pretty proficient on it. Obviously, right? They do a pretty good job when they do it. You see Stewie getting aggressive with it on CT side. Tarek every so often on maps like Mirage, you might be seeing him upper B with the op sometimes. But in addition to that, I mean, if I were to say Cloud9 we're going to be in 7th place at the end of the season right now, if I were to make that, you know, prediction at the beginning of the season, like, that'd be really weird to make.
Let's talk about, like, the big problem here, too. And it's not just the 7th place thing. Obviously, that comes into play here, but even a 2-0 tonight doesn't guarantee them in.
No, it doesn't. You have to rely on other teams to lose, and that's something you never want to put yourself in. And Cloud9, I mean, if they don't make playoffs, I mean, that's going to be really terrible in the C9 camp when you expect this team to be the 1 or 2 top team in North America. And by power or by talent alone, they should be. It took them too long to kind of get situated during the start of the season where they lost a bunch of maps they shouldn't have.
Well, losing a bunch of maps you shouldn't have. I mean, looking at it, they did have quite. They brought in 2 new players. There was a change in the camp. So in some ways, could this? I don't want to use the word throwaway season, but ultimately, did they use this season as sort of building blocks?
I mean, I hate to cop out, yes, but at the same time, every period of time is building block for a team, unless they have it written in stone that you need to win this or a change is imminent. I would more say that. I think it's interesting that it almost removes some mental pressure from C9 tonight, the fact that it's not guaranteed to go to LAN with 2-0, right? It's like you need 2-0 to go to LAN, but it's not guaranteed, so there's no like pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like you might as well just get the wins, right? Don't hinge too much on it, because at the end of the day, it's not 100% if you do get the wins. So let's just go out there and play our game, right? It's not like.
Yeah. But take a positive note from C9 is that from the start of the season, you've seen a lot of improvement. You see them win DreamHack Denver, and so they have the potential to beat some of the best teams in the world and hang with them and stuff like that. It's just the problem is if they get a little lazy in game, as we saw last night on Inferno, they just weird individual decisions. You have to come 110% every single match, doesn't matter who you play. And if they get in that in that kind of mindset, I think they would be a lot better than what their score is in the league.
Ultimately, they are sitting in a really rough spot. I mean, we did talk about not wanting to be with your back against the wall and dependent upon somebody else's performance, but ultimately, Cloud9 find themselves just in that position. They need either a loss from Counterlogic Gaming or Energy, not both. One or the other. They need an 0-2 from them to stay even in the remote range of qualifying for
on top of the 2-0 that they need to go. Right. So it doesn't look too good. I mean, that's something. I mean, it's gotta.
Hey, but as you said, it seems like whenever these things, whenever there's this weird low probability event, it just seems to happen.
It's weird,
right?
It's almost as if the script was written by someone else other than us. And on this script, when I wrote it, because we actually brainstormed this out together. We've had this in the plans, the cards the whole time. We're looking at Cash and Train tonight. Cash being our first map here between Misfits and Cloud9. And again, they have been playing on LAN all day. In fact, I believe they'll be playing on LAN in the same room against each other.
Yep, and I think against Cash, I thought that was more of Misfits map, but I could be wrong on that one.
So Misfits were carrying a 15-9 lead a few hours ago against Liquid on this map.
Yeah.
Liquid came back, brought it to overtime with a 6-round string of rounds after Twist's 3v1s or 1v3s them inside the B site. So, I mean, Misfits might be feeling low confidence here. So you never know.
You never know, but well, maybe the confidence is that they're about to beat Team Liquid, but they failed to close. And we've seen this happen a lot with his North American teams where they fail to close when being up. And I think that a lot of it is just a mental game. It's not really your tactic. Well, it could be your tactics.
A lot of it could be, though, right?
Yeah, it could
I mean, the tactics that end up becoming very relevant towards the end of a game are the economy choices, right? So if you're on CT side and it's like a 2v3 or 2v4 and the retake is low probability, you probably want to save, right? Because you can chip away at their money, save your guns. All you need is one more round, right?
Yeah.
So there are some economic tactical decisions that come into play. And I think that's actually what made Fnatic so good a few years ago, right? We don't see these mature decisions being made, right? If you can have the same op 5 rounds in a row and you've lost the 4 previous rounds, that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. That means that, as long as you could honestly say you were trying to win the round in which you saved it, that means you're doing a good job to some extent. It's giving you a chance in the next round.
Yep.
And again, if you're just joining us at home, we are waiting for all 7 matches to start at one time. And, well, believe it or not, that takes a little bit of coordination across the board. So
I think that means there's probably a Steam update in the works, right? Like that would just be
a Steam update, a game update. No, I made all that up. That's
power outage.
Actually, you know what? It's possible.
Outage.
It's Saturday and the last day of Pro League, so I guess anything is possible. Anything being possible, though, Cloud9 possibility of getting to the LAN looking a little slim.
I mean, C9 loves playing Cash. I know that they're very comfortable on it. Just given my past experience with them as well as watching how they play. And I think Misfits are also pretty comfortable on it, but I would have to give the edge to C9 just you know, just straight away.
I think both these maps kind of favor C9 and Misfits. You know, the next map is terrain as well, so I mean, it could go either way. I think Misfits can pull out a win, though. It's very likely, so we'll see.
No matter what, it is still a situation where Cloud9 needs to find 2-0. Again, that is pivotal to them actually getting to the land. Let's go ahead and throw in the Betway odds real quick. You guys, 1 second. I got you. Looking at these Betway numbers, is that fair at this point?
I think that's a little skewed. I don't think it should be that much favored towards Cloud9. I think Misfits is a decent team. I mean, they are.
I would agree in the direction that they are pointing.
Oh, yeah,
right? Would you agree to that? Can you at least agree to this? Yes. All right, then let's do business.
All right, sure. I'll compromise with you. So yeah, I think Misfits would win on.
You know, it's funny. Here's a funny theory. So if you're Shangers and you know that you need 1 point to guarantee lane, and it's this first map, it's 14 all, you can't buy, right? You don't necessarily need to go for the win, right? So you might as well give them that 15th round and then come in on the 30th round and just try and push it to overtime.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you might choose to play different here. Like, C9 has different motives in how they would buy at the end of a map than Misfits would.
Especially going into today.
And that's kind of the stuff I want to be looking for, is like, how does Sean call at the end of the game if it is close? I think we might see some interesting decisions
Some
made.
Sorcery. Some trickery, one might call it. Well, Sean versus Cloud9, and again, we've talked a little bit about Amanek and Duvek. We've talked about Rush and Tarek. From either side of the board here, what other players should we be looking forward to as standouts?
Well, I want to see Shazam perform on LAN. He didn't perform too well against Team Liquid.
Did you see his score today? I felt bad. Honestly, I felt bad for the. I never wish for anyone to do poorly, but he just did not have a very good game.
It wasn't a good day.
So I hope he can bounce back.
Yeah, he definitely has to bounce back. If you, as I said before, if Shazam frags out, Misfits wins, right?
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
I think Amanek dropped like a 42 bomb and Shazam had like 9 kills. I'm not kidding. Like, it was actually that disparate.
Yeah, and they end up losing. So it's correlation. It's a fact.
Is it causation? Who knows?
I don't know. I'm not a scientist here like you are.
Well, listen, I think we've broken this down just about as far as we can. And ultimately, we're going to see if Cloud9 can break down these Misfits into 2-0 tonight, or they're going to be losing their chances of going to Odense for the LAN finals. Either way, starting it for the last time here, for the last day of ESL Pro League Season 6, let's go ahead and bring in Blue and Launders.
What's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good, Eric. How you doing?
I like your T-shirt.
Thank you.
What is it? Let me see it.
It's Oakland.
Come on, spread it out. Spread it out. Let's see it. There we go.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's good.
He has natural form when he does that.
I know.
Really good.
I think he does it in the mirror a lot, you know, at home, just practicing.
I wasn't going to say that.
I mean...
I can't tell that about you, the Bears, but I know you do.
Launders has the same shirt as the new terrorist model on Mirage.
He does. He
Remember
does.
the one that
Dangerous territory. Right. All right. Let's go ahead and bring this conversation back down.
I was talking about the one that Blue commented on a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like the one that looks like Heisenberg.
Let's just start throwing people under the bus. I like this.
So I do want to mention, by the way, that the match between Energy and Luminosity just ended, which means we should be ready to go here soon, I believe. So those guys should be ready to jump into the server pretty quickly here, as Energy just beat Luminosity back at the iBuyPower tournament down the road.
1917 on train.
Oh, Energy came back.
Yeah, they came back.
Wow.
They came back. They came back.
Interesting.
Was that a decider match, or what was that?
I think groups.
Hey, I don't know, because you know what? We're not at iBuyPower Masters. We're here at the last day of ESL Pro League Season 6 regulation. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a quick break, and we come back. We're jumping into the action with Blue and Launders. Don't go anywhere. And if you do, please come back. See you later.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA. ESL
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final day and the final matches of Season 6 here at the ESL Pro League. Myself and Lawners, we're going to be jumping into Cloud9 versus the Misfits. We'll be keeping taps on the other 6 games that are going to be going on here this evening, and we'll be having Suna, along with some of our analysts, reporting in throughout the course of the matches to update you guys on exactly what is going on and who is in and who is out of the playoffs in Odense. For Cloud9 here, they must 2-0 both of these matches and count on either NRG or CLG losing 0-2 in order for them to qualify. So the pressure's on, and they have to start it off with these victories or they're not even going to have a chance.
Yeah, their motivations are going to be all over the place. It's going to be kind of a crazy set of matches where there's some just like people are going to be in emotionally different places where they're not exactly playing for the same thing. Some of these teams are playing to knock each other out. Some of them are just playing to qualify for themselves. Cloud9 are going to be motivated, but at the same time know that their fate is not really up to them. They're just going to have to meet themselves 50% of the way by getting the 2-0 and then just hoping that, and if we look at the matches, right, we see that NRG is playing Immortals and that is likely going to be a 2-0 for NRG just because we saw Splice play Immortals and Splice absolutely dominated Immortals because of their 200 ping. Now, if we have CLG versus Splice, yeah, that's an opportunity where maybe Splice could go 2-0 versus CLG. Very unlikely, yeah, but still could happen, and that's probably the best chance for Cloud9 to be able to make land here. So it's very unlikely that Cloud9 make land in the first place. And Splice don't exactly have the most amount of reasons to try extremely hard in these matches either. They're not going to make land. They're not getting relegated. So yeah, you know, I wouldn't. That's a tough place to be if you're Cloud9. Yeah,
I think Splice is pretty much already guaranteed to be in playoff relegation if I remember their position correctly, or they might have like escaped right above that one position, but they're basically in a pretty neutral spot right now. There isn't much that they can gain by winning or losing this match, so it's a pretty neutral match for them. And if the encouragement isn't there, then CLG could just wash right over them and get a quick 2-0 as well, which would kill Cloud9's chances right from the get-go. But we're gonna have to wait and see, as Cloud9 also needs to win both of these maps. So it's gonna start off here on Cash, and then we go to Train afterwards, and they're gonna be playing it against the Misfits, who actually just managed to toss away a game versus Liquid, which they seem to have pretty handily from when we started tuning in anyway, checking that one out. And it was on the same very map, but managed to go to overtime, and they lost it. So needless to say, they're not going to be super confident going right back into this map to play it against Cloud9.
Two great maps, though, for both these teams. They both love Cash. The fact that Misfits lost Cash is kind of crazy because they lost so many CT rounds in a row when I think it was 15-6 at some point, so it's kind of startling that they ended up losing that, and it was like a 1v3 at 15-11 where Twist won the round when they had him dead to rights. It was over. All they had to do was rush him pretty much, and they tried to play it even more carefully and still ended up losing. So, they're going to be kind of salty about that, but they've got to move on and move forward and play Cash one more time.
All right, let's start it off here. Misfits will be jumping onto the T side, and they'll pretty much just rush over here towards the B site. Equal trades to begin it, but Cloud9 still have a good setup, and they pretty much rotated everyone over here. The only inner site player that was still alive, though, is now dead on the ground. Automatic will pick up one additional kill, makes it 2 as well, as now he tries to push out from Checker. Stewie into the door, finds one, and then whips around to take out Sean and claim a pistol victory for Cloud9 to start off the first map.
What a ridiculous round from Stewie, that 180. And Sean must have missed so many shots, though. I mean, he was standing right there above him. I would like to see how that happened, actually. I don't know if we get to watch Sean Garrett's POV. That 180 was kind of nuts, though. And what a way to kick off the map.
Here we go.
And yeah, oh man, he was just taking damage. Maybe the peak only came out at that moment. But yeah, another salt-inducing round that Misfits have to stomach.
And yes, they're also going to start off from behind here, economically speaking. So they forced buy into it in the second round. They did not get the plant there in the pistols, so not much of a merit in full saving and waiting for a third round buy. They will just buy into it completely here and hope for the best as spread their players out across the map, but pretty quickly group them up again, as it looks like they're going to go for a slow walk down the B halls to try and find a way to execute. Could see some mid-pressure going out too in order to get vents control. In fact, I believe we already have that with 6 sneaking through, getting into those vents.
They're leaving this pretty wide open, and this is common to play 2 on sites, but the rotate's not exactly close, and they have got to get moving. The smoke comes out, but behind them, so they're gonna sit and hang out for a bit.
As they move in, Tarek is gonna be able to pick up the first kill, and Stewie finds the second, so Misfits getting pretty quickly melted down here. And now they've lost the bomb. It's sitting down out on the site too, so they are not going to be able to fall back and try to rotate over towards A. They are locked into this site, and will just have to do their best to try and do as much damage as possible. Amanek finding one, but moments later, Skadoodle catches the trade onto Sick. Amanek chains together a second kill, so a little bit of damage here, but obviously it wasn't not meant to last, so Stewie's eventually going to take him down, and that secures the 2-0 start.
And unlike the match where Misfits just went to OT, it's going to be a match where this has to close out in regulation, which is another out for Misfits. So they pretty much just have to get to the 15-round mark, I think, to be in a better place or a safer place.
Apparently our Outlook settings are out of date.
Got to check your emails and stay on top of that.
I'll have to have someone look into that ASAP. Cloud9 shooting ahead here right at the start. And we already have a pause, but it is of technical nature. Reminder that most of these teams are playing from the iBuy LAN right now, so
it's their fault, if anything.
No, I wasn't going to say. I was just saying that there might be pauses because due to like setup or any internet issues, since I imagine the internet there is probably getting tested a little bit with their stream still staying up, and then all these players trying to play on ESCA servers too. Might have a couple disconnects happen at any point here. Good initial start here to the third round for Cloud9, although Shazam with that trade should let Misfits flood back inside. Skoodoodle and Tarek do the best of managing this, and okay, Sick finds another pickup, which is going to let him plant now. We don't immediately see Rush go back into the site to kill Sick, so while they still immediately brought down low to 3 HP, he's got the bomb down, so he's guaranteed extra money going into that first gun run at least, which is, I think, far more than Misfits were hoping to accomplish in this round. In addition to getting, 3 kills there, almost a fourth. You can see how low Rush was, but Rush eventually does take him down, and that secures the 3-0 start for Cloud9, but it's going to be tested pretty quickly.
Yeah, at least the bomb plant will help them out with their buy in the fourth, and yeah, recovering the 2 guns. They don't actually convert to M4s, so I don't know if they'll hang on to the UMP. I probably would. It's actually a double op setup to kick off this rifle round. Skoodoodle and Stewie both picking one up. I see that Stewie has a great spawn. Could be used for many different locations here on Cache. Sometimes B, sometimes A. It looks like he's going to be taking his talents to B. A smoke comes out, passive setup otherwise, and he himself is getting pretty aggressive in B main. I wonder how far he's going to go with this. They've actually got 4 people here ready to explode on him upon contact.
Stewie holding in the back, but he's going to get overwhelmed very quickly by Devu, who swings forward. The rest of Misfits now sit in front of an open B bomb site. It's going to take them a moment to figure that back out, but as they move in, oh, Tarek actually with some nice spam. Sprays in through the smoke and is able to actually take out Sick there, so brings it back down to a 4v4 and something makes it a little bit more palatable in the retake for Cloud9. Still going to be tough with how quickly they got locked out of the site, but it is possible. It's going to take them a moment to really prop up and get themselves ready to move back in. You have the majority of their players look like they're going to head through the vents on retake. Whereas only one is going to proceed through heaven, and that'll be Skoodoodle, so not too much of a surprise there. The vent players move in. It's clear at first, but they've got to be careful because Sean tries to push back in. Though he fails outright, Tarek is going to be able to take him down. Shazam still holds the sunroom, though, and this causes a pinch onto those Checkers players. Shazam and Devil will clean up shop with 3 kills, and Shazam gets his own personal 3rd kill to close out the first gun round in Misfits' favor.
In the back of your mind, you do feel like you lost the round once the site goes down because you know you have Stewie there all alone. He's got the op. You're expecting him to not only get a kill, but likely get 2, maybe stay alive. He was kind of aggressive, though, with no smoke and did run the risk of a play like this being the perfect counter to what he was set up for doing. So, with that in mind, Cloud9 now have to save, and Cloud9 had to take that on the chin as well. So a great start to the comeback, potentially, for Misfits. As they win the rifle round cleanly and play the after plant to perfection. And Shazam already off to a much better start than he was earlier today. Wasn't having a great game earlier.
And we can already see the defects of Cloud9's setup there. Once they lose that first gun round, because they took so many losses in the anti-ecos, they're almost immediately put onto an eco here. They do force buy into it, and that means they've got at least the ump in the op. But besides that, it's a very pitiful buy from them. They're going to have to try to make up for that with a little bit of aggression that we now see, specifically here on the A site. Tarek already pushing into Squeaky and clearing that back out. He's got to be careful adventuring more forward than this hallway, though, as Sick is waiting on the outskirts and almost already picks up the kill against Tarek. That'll send him barreling back into the site, play a more standard defensive setup as the rest of the team lines up probably to go for a little bit of mid-control here on Misfits' side.
Let's see what they do with it. Mid-control is big on Cache. Obviously, it allows you to split the sites, and it compromises a lot of spots that the CTs can stand on to defend against A pushes. But even without it, even if they don't use it, those spots are compromised. Now the A push comes out, a couple of kills come early, and that just leaves our man Skoodoodle on the bomb wall dead.
Skadoodle will go down, and with him dead, there's only the players up on the highway approaching truck left alive here. One of them is Stewie, decides to split out at Z, and actually, Sean, for whatever reason, decides to not check that corner, so that's going to hand over an AK to Stewie. Probably immediately triggers a save off of that pickup there, but at the very least, if Stewie can get away with this, then it's going to be a nice little free upgrade for Cloud9, as they'll probably look to, again, pretty much just eco going into the next round, so this will be nice to have at least a couple extra guns.
It's still early in the half, Blue, so obviously they're going to want to try to hang on to as many guns as they possibly can. It's going to count towards something in the next few rounds, and with Misfits, knowing that, they would like to be able to find them. However, it is much more important for them to just keep as many people alive as possible at this point, because their economy is also priority number one. But again, a good round from the Misfits. They play the pretty standard move towards A slowly, anti-eco, and the first 2 kills come their way, so they speed it up. I imagine if they didn't get those 2 kills, they would just had mollied out spots. Still probably would have had a pretty easy time. We see a lot of teams have adapted to molly strats on A by placing all the CTs like against the sight box, and then just once the mollies are out, then they disperse and try to push. But Cloud9 were all in the usual spots. So they probably would have just fallen into the ecos or fall into the mollies right away.
Yeah, it will be Misfits slowly setting up a default, however, to begin the 6th round. And Cloud9, again, as mentioned previously, really only have those pistols along with the 2 saved guns to play with here in the 6th. They'll gamble stack this time with 4 players committing over towards A, and only leaving Stewie with the AK solo defending B on his own. Without any sign of map control being taken from Misfits, though, they'll slowly crawl around the map here, looking for that option, and eventually deciding to take it, I believe, over towards the B halls a little bit here, but that could still very easily change up. There's no commitment towards either site just yet, as they continue to expand their options and try to find the best route.
Sean is usually good at not running into stacks, and this is a situation where it's relatively blind. They do seek out information, they risk a player getting killed, and they've got a lot of guns to use. And they have picked the right site in this circumstance, and it's just Stewie on B with a smoke.
Stewie's trying to stay as quiet as he can until he needs to pop out that flash. Out it goes. Not really going to blind anyone, however, but still able to get the first kill. What he hasn't been able to see, however, is Sick hiding down below, but even Automatic rotated in time and was able to pick up 1 additional kill. For the moment, Cloud9 have the man advantage, but they don't have great positioning to continue defending this site. Stewie is the one player keeping them in this right now, and unfortunately for him, he's now dead. But Tarek and Skadoodle still doing a little bit of work, specifically Tarek with the op up in heaven, and all of a sudden, it's just Sick left alive. He has to hold on to this site, can't even really peek it anymore. It's too big of a risk that they might have actually pressed out. It's not the case, but still has to play it like this has happened. So we'll sit back, tries to spot Skadoodle, will get the shots at him, but when he peeks Tarek instantly knocks him out. And that's Cloud9 pulling off a very impressive retake with only 2 guns to their name to start off that round.
Yeah, that was an amazing round, obviously, because they delayed long enough that it made Misfits kind of second guess how they were approaching the site. I don't think they anticipated Stewie to play it the way he did, but he did a great job delaying with that smoke. Everybody was rotating from the farthest possible point, and they still made it in time to be able to trade out. Ultimately, Misfits could have played it better by moving a little bit more quickly, identifying they saw one person on the site, but they have to be aware that they picked the site, that they're committed. So the worst thing they could do is, if it was a stack on the other side of the map, give that side of the map time to rotate in. So shooting themselves in a foot a little bit. You know what? I'm going to call that round John Mulligan. Okay. Cloud9 blew them out of the water.
Oh no. Well, moving on from that, we've got Misfits once again lining up for a default. And they've got all their players in A main already too, so move past that, ready to execute into A. And Cloud9 sit back. No aggression from them, so not going to have any early info to suggest that this might be the case. Without anyone like Stewie pushing into those B halls, they still have to assume it could be either site. But they have played heavily into A again, not obviously the full 4-man stack that we saw in the previous round. They've got Fort relatively close by, ready to defend it at a moment's notice. Don't Automatic will be first up to bat here. He tries to push himself forward to the forklift position, but will get mollied back. So it's Tarek instead up on top, but they push directly into his presence. So he's ready to take that shot against Sean. Knocks him out. Automatic with a second kill here. Not even struggling at this point in time against the Misfits' attempt to go out and take site control. They will get it at least due to Shazam's one singular trade onto Automatic. But now it's a 3v4 post plant, but Tarek goes back to his position that he took before. Loses himself there. Skadoodle keeps it even a little bit here, but Rush will get Countered on the flank, Ominek beats him out and puts us back down into a 2v2, as now the remaining CTs have to go back in and establish some presence. Skadoodle taking a bit of a big risk. He leaps right up on top of the bomb, has cleared it out. They should know one of the last two is sitting back at quad somewhere. They'll smoke it as well, so we can't directly peek it, but Sick still knocks out Stewie, gets the better of him, and it's on Skadoodle, who has basically 0 time left. Kills Sick through the smoke at least, and now he's going to leap onto the bomb. Ominek, you've got to find him. The bullets are enough to scare Skadoodle off the bomb, though, and forces him to run away. Bomb's blowing up, but Ominek gets the kill before it explodes. And that will secure the round for the Misfits.
Skadoodle might have actually had that. He had the kit. He was 2 seconds in, and Sick was missing. Thought for sure that it wasn't that he wasn't any farther out than that angle. Now we don't know where that would have gone if he tapped some more and like tried to find him. And Skadoodle was obviously being prudent by trying to save that op and get out of there as soon as he possibly could without leaving anything to chance, knowing they were going to save. But still, it seemed like maybe they could have had that. So that's a key moment, maybe a turning point in this half. Cloud9 have to save one more time. And I think we've just seen rounds trade back and forth. Misfits, where that Cloud9 are low, have picked up 2 MAC-10s and will look to make some money this round.
Try their best to do it with this highway stack that they've got going on right now. But it looks like Misfits have proceeded down the B halls. However, they're pulling away from it, so might not be sticking around here for too long. They actually might end up going into that trap that's been set at highway. So they'll have to be a little bit careful as to position themselves properly to avoid that. However, here comes the slow walkout at mid, and their attempt to take control here. But we've got Cloud9 with 3 players behind White Box looking to stop this. Sean goes 1 for 1. Sick, a little bit more restrained, but he's still taking quite a bit of damage here. Just getting slowly pelted down. They haven't returned all that much. The good news is, though, is they do have utility, and they're able to use that to scare away the remaining Cloud9 players and open up a path towards either site, depending on where Misfits did decide to go here.
The mollies are really good. Shied them off of mid-control, and as we can see, it's Influence rotation actually to stack a B because they're now blind. Now it is going to be Skadoodle, the last man standing at A with a USP in a corner. Maybe he gets a shot off, but probably won't have much impact.
He's hiding over here at Squeaky corner, but yep, Devo instantly headshots him out of the round, and that secures it. Misfits, no way they're going to lose this as they secure that plant on A, and the last 2 members of Cloud9, since they don't really have anything significantly bought, more than likely just going to try to line up for some exit kills here if they can get into good positions for it. But Tarek's already been lost due to Ominek expecting him to come out of Z. And Stewie might suffer a same fate here in a second if he continues to peek. And there we go, but he gets the better of Ominek, so first kill for him, but he's got someone flanking him there. And Devo will be the one that finishes it off, tying us up now at 4-4.
It's good that once they got out mid that they resorted to their nades quickly before taking too many gunfights, getting chip damage off on them. And just with that single Molotov, and they threw 2, but they only needed the first one. They got the rotate to come out, the overstack towards the wrong site, and Misfits once again picked the correct site to go to on the anti-ego. And it's funny because they've traded rounds with one where they picked the stack site, still won, one where they picked the wrong site, or the better site, excuse me, and then lost. But now we're starting to look a little bit more stable.
Got Misfits quickly bursting out for mid-control, but they don't check their corners here. Rush, he's allowed to escape with 2 pickups, and Rush still not dead. What is going on? Ominek, did he run out of ammo or something like that? As we're going to see a Rush be able to finally take him down. Sean is the only saving grace for Misfits right now, having cleared out the A site and leaving room to plant, because besides that, Cloud9 completely shut down Misfits' mid-control attempt. It's all going to go quiet now, but Stewie strikes first again, able to take down Shazam, and Sean doesn't even stand a chance. Rush rolls right up through highway, instantly headshots out Sean, and that will allow for Cloud9 to now take back their lead at 5-4.
Did I already give out the mulligan of the match? Was can I just reapply?
You want to take it back and give it to
it? Did they do that at award shows ever?
No, I don't think so.
Damn, well, you've got to set the precedent, right? Here it is, Rush with a 2K, and then he saved just enough ammo to make this weird for Ominek, where I think he gets a little nervous about missing, and then it becomes a Wild West battle where they both reach for their pistols as soon as possible. Oh, man. And then Rush gets 4 kills. Gets the last player on A as well.
So an insane turn of events there from Cloud9 allowed them to steal away another round from Misfits. That's already the 2nd time that's happened in this half alone. So things are not going smoothly at the moment in the Misfits camp. Definitely still showing some issues that may or may not have been carried over from that Liquid game that was seen before. Rush hiding in the cubby, takes him a moment, he gets that first kill, but he's lost his teammate on the site, so he's pretty much stuck here now. And I'm sure Misfits are going to be smart enough to play around this position so as not to give him any chances to frag. Just as I say that, though, I'll correct myself as he was given plenty more chances to frag. Picks up the kill, and Shazam finally knocked out by Almanac, who pushes him directly with a MAC-10. And now Devo has got the hold on the smoke. Takes down Stewie as soon as he pushes out from it, and that gives Misfits back the man advantage to play off of here. But Skadoodle and Tarek are looking for a way back into the site. It's going to take them a moment, but they've still got 3 flashbangs to play off of here. Definitely initiate themselves back in as everyone from Misfits is secured on the site right now. They don't have any presence outside of it, and that's going to cause some issues as you've just seen right there. Tarek sneaking up very close, pre-firing in. They walk right into his spray there. Seeing the shadow from the corner player, but that's going to distract him. Allows Romanic to get the kill, and now Skadoodle moves in with a picked up AK, picks up last 2 kills out of absolutely nowhere, and that secures the round for Cloud9. Nicely done from Skadoodle on a quick switch to the AK.
You're kidding. From the op to the rifle, the 1v2, very nicely done. And I was just going to highlight how that was the smoke criminal getting arrested. You know what I mean? I don't know what the play was that Stewie was making. And I think we're going to go to Trace to get an update on our matches.
All right, that's right. You're going to see Cloud9 in the lead, as well as Energy. Energy sitting at a comfortable lead right now. However, it is all contingent of that if Cloud9 will be advancing onto the LAN finals. They do have quite a bit of a load in front of them. Either way, let's jump back in the action.
All right, thank you very much, Stunna. So back to our match here as that game is going pretty much as expected right there with Mortals unfortunately still playing from Brazil with like 170 plus ping on most of their players. Not much of a chance for them to scrub out a win against Energy. Yeah,
that was literally both the same starting score lines for the Splice versus them in the previous match. So yeah, not a great place to be. And now it's back to the focus of things because they're still CLG's match, which is probably again I think the maps we want to look at if we're going to talk about Cloud9's hopes at all, apart from this one right here in front of us, of course. Now it's what looks like feigning a mid-take to bait out some utility early on. Minute 40 left. Everybody's walking. They haven't actually decided to take anything. But it looks like they might be setting up for some type of full A. As we can see the bomb postured in the back of A main, and no one's actually up over the boost just yet.
They've set up for this before and ended up calling it off, however, so I wouldn't call this a commitment to Misfits just yet. Very likely that it is, but...
No, it is because you see where the bomb is. That's tell-all.
So they're going to be they will end up moving into the site now, and Rush gets outwitted right at the start there. Beaten out, back over at the forklift position, however, Automatic picks up the first trade. He'll go for more, too. Knocks out Shazam and continues to follow it through. He's low now at 19 HP, so might want to play a bit more passively. And Stewie, big surprise for him as Devo is holding right outside of forklift. Finally, we see a trade from the Misfits camp. They've got a whole lot more work to do. It's still down to a 2v3, and they've got no control on this site. So they're going to use the molly, but that unfortunately is not going to accomplish a whole lot. We do see Almanac picking up a kill, however. I believe that was onto the player over at Truck. Now it's been evened out into a 2v2, but Devo has to quickly snap to try and find Automatic, but he can't do it quickly enough. Automatic picks up his 4th kill on the round. He'll try to go for the ace, but it's denied by Almanac. And now he's seen Skadoodle peeking out from the site, and he'll be able to close out in another 1v2, but this time it's Misfits that win it, as they bring it back now 5-6.
Damn, looking like one of those magicians on Santa Monica Boardwalk. Like, watch this trick. Aims in between both players and is like, I don't care who peeks. I'm gonna hit this shot. This is nutty stuff. And then also completes it with a shoulder peek to bait the shot and catches Skadoodle, trying to end the round early. Nice stuff. Wow, I can't believe Misfits actually won that after the walkout seemed to fall flat on its face. The hold looked good, and now we've got a situation where Cloud9 don't have much money. The buy isn't amazing for Misfits, but we can see at least rifles here for everybody.
So just barely dodging some of those opening bullets, but he will get himself to the squeaky position. And the rest of Misfits, again, for the most part in A main here.
Are they going to do the exact same thing? I wonder if they don't use utility. I mean, they don't have a lot to work with. It's low buy versus low buy. But Cloud9 are very active at A at the moment. 3 people dedicated to watching every choke point. So I don't know if a walkout's going to catch anybody off guard. And actually, Misfits seem to have a change of heart here as they move towards the boost. Smoke comes out to Z. Late mid-control makes sense.
You've got Stewie defending it right now with the help of Skadoodle, but again, both of them are not very well armed at this point. Skadoodole's got a deagle, Stewie's got an ump, so they do not have the best guns to try and hold this angle off. But they're going to have great intel coming their way in a moment. They would have gotten it anyway with Skadoodle going down here, so Automatics push outside. Unfortunately, he's not going to gain all that much for C9, except for maybe an early flanked angle if he keeps pushing it. Tarek will have to sit back and defend, holding in the corner. Dodges the flash. Oh, but he gets destroyed by Devo from the off angle. It's going to save not only his teammates there, but lead to the elimination of Tarek, as for the most part, Misfits pretty much tear through Cloud9 on this round, leaving only Automatic alive.
That was a good round from Misfits on a few different fronts. At first, it seemed like, oh, should they be committing this hard to A? And obviously, we can see that there's a lot of CTs postured, waiting for that to happen. But it seemed like a strange idea simply because even though they are low, they know that Cloud9 are as well. And yeah, I like that they went back to boost. Went back to boost to clear out mid, got their first kill, long range, rifle versus pistol, kind of exactly what you want to find as Misfits, knowing that Cloud9 are on a force up. And then switching over to B, Cloud9 had a good rotate to B. They had the extra man go there kind of blind, and they called out that it was going to be some type of B play. And they're right about it, but Misfits, again, playing the man advantage, good spacing, and they kept the pace high. So they made it difficult for those rotates to matter too much.
And so now Misfits will continue to push forward and just go directly for the A hit this time. They won't delay it at all. They're not going to wait it out since Cloud9 are pretty much on a full eco. And, well, they're actually getting a couple kills, including one onto themselves. Rush will automatically or accidentally take down Skadoodle throughout the course of that round there. But besides the elimination of Sean and now Devo, this is shaping up to be a pretty straightforward round. As I'm saying that, though, it's becoming much and much less the case. With another kill going by the way of Cloud9. That's now changed. Amanek's been able to take down Tarek. All of a sudden, it's only Automatic who is also going to fall, trying to walk up highway, and that secures the lead for the Misfits. They go up 7-6, but not the cleanest round.
Not a very clean round, but as we near the end of the half, at least they know that Cloud9's money is on the brink, and theirs they have a little bit of bank for. So they've got full buy with some surplus, and with only 2 to go, it seems Cloud9, on top of having an eco, will guarantee that Misfits will be able to afford to buy for the rest of the half. So at least that, you know, this next round, even if they lose, although it might be kind of light. So pretty much an anti-eco default. All the usual suspects holding very familiar positions as a tease, just ensuring that nobody pushes all the way back in spawn, watching B. Whereas Cloud9 are getting set up, and Automatic playing very dedicated to A, allows his team to do a few things. One of those being rotate early without having to worry, because he's in kind of an uncommon position. People do check for this sometimes, but it's not that easy to clear, and usually if you're up there, you can get 1 kill and probably 2.
Well, now as Misfits finally come down to the point where they are going to have to start moving into either mid or one of the sites to take some control, they line up outside of A again, and Cloud9 have not necessarily left themselves with a whole lot to counter this hit should it roll into A. They've only got 1 smoke sitting on Rush, which thankfully for them is positioned on A. But besides this, well, an HE grenade is really all they carry to the table. Tarek strikes first, though. Holding the close corner, he's able to pick off Amanek trying to come out of mid, but it's not too difficult for them to be able to trade that. Devo will move in, catching him down just a moment later. But Devo took quite a bit of damage from that. He's now down at 13 HP as well. However, you just saw it there. Stewie is the real story here, currently wrapping all the way around against Misfits, and they have no idea about this. Misfits also not been able to really move in and take any map control just yet, but that's going to change now. And this is where the unfortunate factor of Stewie's flank comes in, is that he did end up leaving the B site wide open for the taking. He'll, as I said before, have the very early flank opened up from the B halls, but the site is going to go directly into the hands of the Misfits and let them get into this post plan very, very quickly. All's going to go quiet here for a few seconds as Cloud9 get themselves ready to move in for the retake, but on first peek, Shazam strikes against Stewie at Sunroom, takes him down. The rest of the team, for the most part, is going to have to come back into this site at a very straightforward angle, so it looks like they're deciding that it's not worth it, that they can't fight right now, that they're going to need these guns most importantly for the final round of the half. So they've called it off. They're going to sit back and at best sit over here and look for some exit kills, as this round is going to the Misfits, and they'll shoot up to 8.
It's been kind of a weird match. It seems like every time Misfits touch vents, they do end up going B. And it looks like, I think from Cloud9's perspective, well, why did they rotate so heavy out? And that's because Stewie had all that information gone through spawn. And I think that the reason, he probably was aware, you know, they could come out vents and go B, but he didn't think that they were going to go 5 through vents and thought, okay, well, I'll be able to catch someone coming through B main and then, you know, stop this split.
Oh, so going over to this other match now that we have going on, we can take a look at that, and we can see NRG have, well, taken pretty dominant control of their matchup versus the Immortals there. It's 14-0. And it does not look like Immortals are going to be able to come back from that. So again, the expected result given Immortals' unfortunate circumstance. But we go back to our match as we get into the final round of the half.
Yeah, it's a rough place to be for Immortals. I don't think they were expecting much else. Energy also looked particularly good, which, I mean, it's not going to play into their favor whatsoever. But last round of the half, it's been kind of a strange one. Cloud9 have done some good stuff. Misfits have had a pretty good T side, though, I thought. Like, so a lot of great adjustments. They picked kind of a lot of the right sides, and if they didn't get ecoed a couple of these times, or four spot to death, I think we would have seen kind of like an 11-4 type scoreline.
Yeah, just those unfortunate rounds that have unfortunately played out against them. As we look for Misfits to engage once more, they've already taken mid control. And we're going to see Misfits continue to push up towards the B site. And get ready once again to move into execute. Good timing on that nade, though. I'm not sure there was a sound cue that was made. Sean might have gone a little bit too quickly to be able to make that noise. But anyway, hits him. Knocks out about a third of his HP. And we see the rest of Misfits actually holding back now, delaying a bit more time. They don't really have a whole lot of it. Only 30 seconds remain here. And they're going to have to go back in and still clear out the site before they can even plant. Cloud9 should also start to get a little bit worried about where this execute's going to come from, given the low amount of time here. They're going to have to very quickly rotate into this, and essentially Misfits going for a shock value play to get into the site without enough trades. Tarek picks up one, and so does Rush in mid. But besides that, it is a clean entry from Misfits, but still serves to bring it down to a 3v3, and Devo, oh my god. Just barely avoids the flame spreading to him, and he's at 3 HP, so one single tick would have killed him. Oh my god! Another nade, just barely off the mark to knock him out, as now he's at 1. Devo has a lucky star watching over him right now. He will finally go down, and now, with the loss of his other teammate, it's all on Shazam here, but he picks up his second kill, knocking out Skadoodle, knows where Automatic is now, so can play with him a little bit and try to waste some time. He's got to be careful on that peak, though, as Automatic is ready to take the duel and will take him down, securing what should be a 7th for C9.
Yeah, he calls it out, gets the defuse, a couple of gamble peaks both ways from earlier in that round, and Cloud9 at least seal up the last, so it's as tight as a half as it could possibly be, except Misfits have more ways to win, so we'll find out right after this short break who's going to be the winner of this first match.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
And we're back again, folks, here with more action from the final day of Season 6 EPL in North America. We have plenty of teams looking to qualify, looking to steal some slots at the last minute in the playoffs, and Cloud9 is one of those teams. Unfortunately, though, their task just got a lot harder, as we did see Energy come out on top of Immortals. Very much the expected result, like we were saying before. Immortals, unfortunately, under some very unfortunate circumstances, playing from Brazil, so it's pretty much impossible for them to play adequately, and as such, Energy were able to complete a 16-0 victory over the Immortals, as you're now seeing the replay end there.
Yeah, it's as expected, and I think that if we have the other match going on as well, CLG, I believe, are actually losing to Splice on train, 5-8 or something, if that's not even updated. So, and I think that's a Splice on their T side. So pretty good start to that game at least. Unfortunate for Immortals, but that's kind of the result that we expected moving into that match, and I think that we won't see much difference hopefully Immortals for dignity can at least get the, you know, at least get the 1 round so it doesn't look like a forfeit.
Yeah, that's true. But we're going to be jumping back into our match here now, Misfits versus Cloud9. This is the very important one for Cloud9 as they must 2-0 this series. They are behind right now, but only by 1 round. It's basically gone neck and neck after Cloud9's CT side, and they're going to have to hold it together on T side and try and close out here. Otherwise, a 1 map loss will pretty much guarantee them not being able to attend the finals.
Yeah, then we shut this whole thing down and go home. It's pretty much the end of the day.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see what Cloud9 have to shape up here. Pretty straightforward A execute coming out from them, and an even more straightforward CT setup from the Misfits. They have decided to play A retake, but it's very light on A. Usually you see at least 1 player on highway. Not the case this time. They're all going to be shaping up to defend the B site instead. And now, obviously, they'll immediately rotate over, and they'll just have to go for the straight-up 5v5 retake, which is going to be a little bit messy. So we'll try our best to keep up with the action. Misfits start to roll back in from truck and highway. In they go. And let's see how the kills roll out. Right now, it's all Cloud9. Shazam, the only one that's picking up kills for his team. And in fact, he ends up as the last man standing. But Rush will take him out, and it's Cloud9 that come out on top, tying us up now at 8-8.
It's really common. Everybody knows that, you know, you play retake on A on cash very often. Misfits are a team that practices their retakes, and they use these set up specifically so they can fortify B and still have a great chance to win at A. So Cloud9, knowing that, like, have a very difficult round ahead of them. That being said, it's kind of like a bank heist where for Misfits, they throw that smoke down and it's like 15 seconds, go. You know, they have 1 player smoked off. He'd be a huge problem if he could see. So we've got to kill 4 players in the site, make sure we have enough alive, get someone on the bomb, watch A main, kill the last guy, and do that in 15 seconds. And that's kind of very, very intense. But because they're so good at it, you see them still have pretty good results overall. On that round, however, Cloud9 won it, and it was very important that they did, not only getting a plant, closing it out with multiple players still alive.
Cloud9 continue to look for early damage here as they play it slow, once again lining up into that usual T-side default that we see so often on Cash. They've already managed to hit Shazam a little bit there, knocking off about half of his HP, but besides that, nothing else really gained besides the easy mid control, which should have been a given that they would be able to easily grab this time anyway. No presence for Misfits really towards highway or anything like that, so with the Z play already being brought down low, they're going to be able to push in. Tarek, bit of a mistake. Thankfully, it doesn't affect him too much. And as they move in, Almanac will be instantly dinked by the MAC-10. He does return the favor, but will end up going down before he can safely retreat further back, and that has set it up to be a 5v4. Misfits just really not having the gunpowder to go for a retake, so they're probably actually going to sit further back in the A site and look for the save.
So this is the side of the map that versus Liquid, they let a lead go in a big way, 15-6 again. So here on the CT side, they had problems. Now, a huge problem was Shazam just on an individual basis didn't have a great game. Don't want to harp on anybody too hard for just like individually not showing up, but he just wasn't hitting shots and so on. And that was, you know, maybe a factor. Now, there were issues beyond that, though, like teamwork in retake situations, man advantages that they threw away, the 3v1 that Twist had at 15-11, and, you know, any number of those rounds, any one of those rounds, if they could just close them out, they would have won. And with those glaring errors having happened an hour ago, you wonder how much ground Misfits could have covered on Cash. Maybe playing that game is will help them avoid those mistakes in this match. And maybe if they didn't play that game, they'd be in a whole worse of a situation. So potentially a blessing in disguise. But we don't know. We don't know that for sure. And it's also true that Cloud9 were watching that. So maybe they'll try to exploit some of their weaknesses on the CT side. I don't know. That's what I would try to do.
Well, we'll find out if they're going to be able to successfully do that or not. But after this round, since Misfits do save a majority of their players, they end up on pretty much the similar bye to the second round force buy that you would normally see because that's where all the guns are coming from. So they've held back again out of a gamble stack towards another site. B has been left wide open, and that's a bit unfortunate for the Misfits as Cloud9 are about to waltz right in. Skadoodle already has checkers control, along with, actually, excuse me, that's Stewie that has checkers control. And Stewie's sitting, or Skadoodle's sitting back inside of Sunderum, waiting for them to push in and take control. In a moment, they'll probably see that the site is wide open for the taking and just send the bomb that way to plant it and quickly secure a 10th round for themselves.
Kind of an intense moment for both teams. You don't see anybody, you don't actually get more relieved, you get more scared. Well, where are they then, you know? And as the anti-eco-ers, you just want to get a 5v4 to put yourself in the comfort zone. But now that they've started to scout, they see that B's kind of open, or at least they'll find that out soon. As Stewie turns this corner, call for his teammates to rotate in. It's now going to be up to Misfits on the retake, or, well, on the retake to decide how they're going to play it.
Dominic, unfortunately, does not spot Automatic in time, so he gets his first kill. He's got to be careful dueling up here, though. Controls it for a little bit, but Shazam eventually knocks him out. It's going to be Tarek that moves in to claim revenge, and there's the bomb going down, so only a few players remaining for the CT side. Good pre-fire from Stewie to be able to find Shazam, and now just Sick outside of Squeaky, who's probably going to end up in a fight against Tarek here in a second. Tarek should be prepared to take the fight, and he is. So with Cloud9 winning out that round, they go into double digits with a 2-round lead over the Misfits.
Yeah, happy to do it. And as we can see, Misfits prudent enough to set themselves up for the full out buy. All players having utility, and with the 2-round differential, it's not the end of the world for the Misfits. So they don't actually prioritize a kit. Everybody wanted to have a smoke, and that meant that that was going to take out of their kit money. So they've got to deny a plant, or it's going to get a little bit more sticky for them. Stewie's stuck with the MAC-10, and there isn't actually anyone here to stop him. They're playing one on site. He's used his smoke. The fast rotate is vent though.
In they'll roll, and Stewie starts it off with a MAC-10 still in hand. Shazam as well with a fatal miss. That's going to lead to his death, and pretty much the entire B site going under the control of C9. They quickly attempted to rotate players into checkers, but both of them have also died. So it's a very, very clean round from C9, and we already see the save call coming out from both Devaduvek and Sick. Followed back into the Squeaky hallway, and that will let Cloud9 continue to roll forward up to 11 rounds.
Clean rounds. They did it with a MAC-10. I mean, that's the indignity blue. The opera,
the madness.
The player who saved the most, who spent the most in the round, who they left solo on the side, who had the most potential impact, gets killed, taken down by a MAC-10 for free instantly. Doesn't delay, not enough time for retakes or rotates, excuse me, or anything like that. And I mean, it was a hard shot to hit. Shazam and Stewie had the exact same idea, jump up on this box to get a kill. And I think that's actually one of the benefits of having the MAC-10, though. You're more carefree. So, you know, he wasted no time getting up there, and he also got up there faster.
A lot more mobile as we see the trades roll out, and eventually both the members of Misfits that tried to save go down. So no guns are going to be carried over into the 5th round on the half, and that does mean relatively full eco for Misfits. Probably just upgraded pistols, maybe 1 or 2 players able to afford armor, but besides that, Cloud9 should have the penultimate advantage here.
They definitely do. Another economy building rounds where some players are upgrading their pistols, but don't have armor to work with. Besides Sick and all of Cloud9 have a bunch of reasons to keep their players alive. Got ideal buys. Set up in a default. There's no pushes initially. Stack towards B. And it's always good though in a stack to not stack with 5 people. I mean, there can be good reasons to, because you maybe need 5 people to stop 5 rifles or however many rifles come to your site. But having a player on the other side of the map, like we had Stewie and B that round, right? Because he stayed alive and he caused teammates to rotate, that was the only reason they won. You didn't even actually have to get that first kill to make the round necessarily possible. So the information is very important.
We're about stopping the forward momentum of the T's more than anything else, trapping them with only partial control.
Entrapment. That's how you win. Counter-Strike.
That's one way to get it done. We do see Cloud9. Again, they're going to move out, and eventually it looks like Sick did rotate back over to B and group up with the rest of his team, which did leave this A site wide open for the taking. Just quickly clearing it out with a couple preset nades and mollies, and they'll be able to plant the bomb and secure it for themselves. Again, Misfits, not really a whole lot they can do about that. Just going to be setting up for a couple exit kills at best and let Cloud9 go up to 12.
And there it is. The rotate can't come in. I mean, A's a much more wide open site. Like, that's another reason why teams go A so often on the ecos. And it's not that Misfits picked the wrong site when they went B versus Stewie. It's because you have to change it up, otherwise everyone's going to stack the same site every round. But one of the benefits of going A is that it's so wide open that like there's no way that you could have one person there that uses a smoke that blocks him out of the entire site. Let's say Sean was at quad and he wanted to he does that normal quad vent smoke. Then they can just wrap around it or just get stationed up in front of it, take tons of map control, use their time to get information. They're not completely stopped from getting information. So there's only so much you can do, and that's why A is a little bit more favorable for anti-ecoers. Full buy again. Almanac picking up the secondary op. Had an absolute haymaker of a game versus Liquid. Had 35 frags in regulation.
That was indeed impressive, but now we do see the full buy coming back out for Misfits here, including a double op setup this time. Almanac picks up the secondary op. That's going to be a great nade, though, right over top of Devo's head. Interesting enough, only knocks off about 25 damage. So
yeah, I felt like that couldn't have been closer. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that probably should have been almost double the damage that it did, but apparently not. CSGO nades, always fun. As Cloud9 still sit back, prepping up. No map control taking it all from them just yet, but still obviously really early days in the round. And still waiting out some of the initial CT smokes too.
Heavy mid setup, and it looks like Cloud9 want a piece of this action. Will they regret it? We'll soon find out.
We're going to have to see, as members of Misfits are in relatively open positions, but their utility usage has been great so far, along with instantly denying the boost player. That is going to change Cloud9's mind about executing into mid very, very quickly, although hold on now. Let's see if Skadoodle is going to get boosted over the top. Misfits will start to move their guys around a little bit because I think they might see this as a bit of an all clear, but with that flashbang, they'll go back to position. Skadoodle will decide not to peek it completely, though, only checking for Z, Prince, and will not find anything. So can now group up with the rest of his teammates and get ready to push into A main here, which has been left open. They're just holding on the outskirts here, playing into more of a retake angle on the CT side here, but that's going to slowly change. We can see them creeping back up to the site and establish better positioning to actually attempt to hold and outright deny control from C9. Execute finally moves in, though, less than 30 seconds to make it happen, and there is a slight team flash on the way in. Devo will hold, but for only one kill. It's Ominek that picked up the second one. With those 2 kills, though, Misfits maintain an advantage and bring this into a 3v2 on the post plant. Ominek also still holding that very tight corner, but he's going to have to change up from that position now that he's been smoked and flashed out. Still holding it, though, and blind firing with the op, but just no connections.
Health might actually not be a factor here, as there are 2 ops on the retake, so depending on how Sean Gares goes down or gets his kills, Rush could have full impact.
Ominek, though, is going to instantly take down Skadoodle as soon as he sees him, and Shazam swipes in to find Rush there. So they will still pretty quickly retake that and be a little bit closer than a fuse, but thankfully they've got a kit to shorten the duration and make sure that it goes off without a hitch. Misfits finally pick up another round, their first of this half, and they'll go up to 8, or not, excuse me, off that.
Overall, great setup. I like that they can play heavy mid, and they got the first kill. They called out Cloud9, who were going for the initial boost, and even did a ton of damage to Tarek, which factored in later in the round as he got grenaded. And then when they moved over towards A, Misfits staying out of the site was probably a pretty good idea. They had man advantage, they had some utility left, and as they moved in, we could see that it worked out just fine, because even though they had the double op to begin with, Shazam immediately dropped it for a rifle, because he knows, you want to have a more mobile gun that you can spray when you have to encroach on a site. And now the boost. When do we start calling this Ethan, though? Infamous Shroud boost that Ethan had a very formidable play on.
We need a new king to take it over, so Ethan might be a good challenger for it. At least we keep it in the same region anyway, that way.
Yeah, he's got to make Reddit at least, a frequency of like 7 times
per play
a day. Yeah. If you aren't getting 30 posts to Reddit per play, you do not qualify to be a new king of Reddit.
Have to get back in line and reapply on the next one. But we do see Ominek getting smoked out, which is going to make his position a bit trickier to play off of. Still hits the initial shot, though, and now sends the pop flash flying to the skies, but it won't even be needed. Sean, out of the vents, takes out 2 additional players and leaves just Skadoodle and Stewie left alive. With Stewie having partially pushed up through the B-halls, but still not really going to have a lot to go off of and try and initiate into B, since it's still an outright 2v5, and they have done 0 damage to Misfits.
Another great mid hold versus the late mid take of Cloud9, and it's unsure why exactly they've been so adamant about taking it, but Misfits having a really good read on the situation.
Cloud9 able to move back in and actually finally take down Sean, but Shazam still winning, even with the smoke in his way. Takes down Stewie. Only 1 remains, and he's going to rush the plant to try and give his team at least a little bit of extra cash. Gets that down without a hitch. However, got Shazam sneaking in through the smoke now. They're still going to have to figure out where exactly Skadoodle went, but they're going to be able to find that quickly. Doesn't mean they'll get the kill, though. Skadoodle holds for 1 and 2. Now looking for the 3rd, but not going to happen, as Sick will be the one to take him down and bring Misfits into the double digits.
Wow, literally, it got scary there for a moment, but they have 2 alive, which is important because they want the double op setup. They picked those 2 ops again, and as far as they're concerned, they won the round fairly cleanly. Now we're going to have a CLG score report from Trace. Trace, let us know what's happening.
All right, we've been jumping into the CLG Splice matchup. It's quite the close showing here. Rick able to grab a quick 1 versus 3 clutch to really put CLG in a much better position. Either way, they are in a tough one. We're going to go back into the regular game now.
All right, thank you very much, Stunna. So back to our match as the action continues on in what is continuing to be relatively close fashion. Started off in a dominant way for C9. They've now lost that pressure a little bit and have gone into a pause.
Yeah, the score line's getting a little bit closer potentially, as Trace was alluding to, 10-6, but a round win potentially there by Ricky as well. Might make that a longer game. And then Cloud9 were hoping. I wonder if they've got that game open on the second monitor, just Monka S. You know?
This is the one time of the season where you're seeing teams actively root against other teams. They're trying to help potentially other teams too.
Yeah, these guys got to have #1 Splice fan. They're going to pick a player each.
Yeah, they have stickers on their guns today, just showing the support.
Who do you think Automatic's favorite Splice player is?
I don't know.
Can't tell.
Maybe Semphis?
Semphis? Yeah, that makes sense. Nylon Bros?
Yeah.
There we go.
Calling it back to the old days?
Rolling back the years.
About 2 years, but rolling back the years nonetheless.
That's true.
It was all the way back in 2015 is when they had that roster.
Yeah, millennia ago in esports years. Esports years are like dog years in that way. But 2 rounds of difference. Cloud9, obviously, 4 to close this out, but they just lost the last round, and the last 2 rounds, Misfits got away with some very smart mid-control late into the round, and I think Cloud9's game plan was wait them out until Misfits clear out mid and then leave it, because teams don't like to hang out there too long, because if you have anyone pushed up close mid, then you've got to keep refreshing that smoke to keep them safe. You also got to have them have a buddy, which is 2 men, you know, that's a big commitment. And sometimes if you attack late mid, it can just be barren because the team thought, oh, early on you didn't go, you're not ever going to take it. And because that wasn't the case, Misfits held strong. They caught players on boost, did damage to players on lower with nades. They sealed those up quite nicely. And I think it's going to be Cloud9 have to figure out, just from a tactical point of view, it's not even like an individual problem at the moment, how do they get in the shoes of Sean Gares right now? What's Sean Gares thinking about? And if I'm Sean, I know that I can hold on to mid control. I can play light A. My team's confident in the retake on A. I mean, there's no reason to ever even change that setup.
All right, guys, let's take an update on the score once more and see how things are shaping up. You can see all of our matches right there for you. And obviously, again, update coming out. I'll go over SK. That was a bit of a forfeit win there, not an actual 16-0. But the other matches shaped up pretty well so far. And like we said, the ones that we're really paying attention to are the Immortals Energy one, which ended in a 16-0 fashion for Energy. And currently, which is still going on, obviously, the Splice and CLG one, which is now very close at 10-9 there.
Splice is going to lose this game. They got their T side can be shaky. It's clearly getting exploited. I don't know. They like the map though. Maybe there is hope for them. But CLG's train's not that bad. So I think, you know, you would assume that they would win.
And remember that Cloud9 need to see an 0-2 on CLG in order for them to still have chances to go into the playoffs. So this map for Cloud9 could become meaningless even if they do win it, should CLG win that map.
Yeah. So again, the fact that they can play retake on A means they can feel comfortable playing the exact same setup: fortify mid, fortify B, which is hard to retake. Hold on to mid because kills come there, and they also allow your fast rotations. Just do the same thing over and over again. I would just run that until Cloud9 figure out what to do about it. So Cloud9 can go for a full A exec. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Which means they're going to throw a bunch of their nades away, and whereas the counter grenades are much more effective. The execute grenades are usually not as effective. Execute smokes are super effective, but like an execute heat grenade is not as effective as a counter grenade, because a counter grenade goes right to the choke point. You know there's going to be like 3 people that it hits right away, and an execute grenade could land anywhere and maybe hit 1 CT if they're even playing that spot. So there's a lot of advantages for teams that are confident playing from the retake.
Yeah, and as we can see here, it does look like we are just sort of... Oh, never mind. I thought we had a player disconnected. It looks like they're just hiding behind the box there on the zoom in. But apparently it's just a small internet problem at the venue, which, as I said before, was something that we kind of expected to happen, given the fact that there's like 40 or 50 players trying to play online matches from the same venue right now. So
man, they just need to plug Ethernets into each other.
Just get infinite speed off of that. Just have a massive loop.
That's how the internet works, right?
Yeah, it's just perpetual speed being
That's what I thought.
Sent around everyone. Never expires at any point. It's not limited at all. So as soon as this spikes down...
That the internet is like that big modem they found in South Park?
Yeah, that would be cool if that was the case. We could just fix all the world's internet problems with a quick switch.
Yeah. Just gotta be nice to it.
Yeah, appease the router or the modem, whatever it was. So yeah, guys, as you can see from the ping spiking there a little bit on Cloud9, we are just waiting for that to get settled out. And as soon as it calms down a little bit, then we should be good to continue the match. It is a little bit weird that Misfits are not having that problem and Cloud9 is, but because Cloud9's in that venue too, right?
They are in the same venue, yes.
All right, guys. Well, this is taking a little bit longer than expected. So while Cloud9 look to sort out that issue at the venue, we're going to go to a short little break. Do be sure to stick with us. When we come back, we're going to be continuing this match and get to see if Cloud9 will have a chance to sneak into the top 6 or if Misfits will shut them down and kill that dream, or it even has a chance to show up.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Right, you can't stop the might. You should have took flight. Tell them when I bring it home, I'll take the top throne. King when I bring it, I keep them yelling out. Yeah. 'Cause I can smell victory, 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 victory.
And we are back again, folks, ready to go live and continue this match between Cloud9 and the Misfits. I believe the internet issues are resolved at the iBuyPower Masters venue, so we should be good to go and continue to see if Cloud9 will have a bout or a chance at all to qualify for Odense, or if Misfits are going to be able to quickly dash those dreams, as they're on the comeback right now. Brought the scoreline up to 10-12 and currently have the advantage over Cloud9.
Yeah, it's a small advantage that Cloud9 have, but that gap is closing because Misfits showed a pretty big promise in these last couple of rounds with their early mid control, and here we have that. We actually, another round in a row that Misfits have sealed up, losing only one player. Now, for some reason, Cloud9 still have so much money. How on earth is that possible that they have that much money? I guess they saved one eco'd last round and just had leftover. Okay, now that they buy up, have really spent it, but yeah. Yeah, I guess they just wanted to have like one really sick buy, so saved even when they had a little bit of extra money left over.
And so that has caused Cloud9 to still get into this round with a fully bought economy. And they're going to quickly walk over to the B site. No delay on this at all. They're already at T main, and only about 20 seconds have gone by in the round so far. Sean, along with, who's in the site with him? Shazam. Going to be very ready to defend this, because even at mid too, Automatic has positioning to watch out for this. And Sean did just see a player peeking over here at the box. Not able to spray it and take him down completely, but thankfully good timing on it. He unpeaks, gets out of there before things get too hairy, and now can re-peek into the fight. Sick can move back in. Wow, really well coordinated from Misfits to shut this hit down. Automatic will find a trade in mid, but that means very little at this point. What could still happen, however, is they could rush out towards A, as that site is wide open for the taking.
They could rush out towards A. Scoodoodle trying to catch a mid straggler. There's not going to be a player for him to kill, however, and the bomb has only walked around to boost. So they're assuming that there's still somebody here, and they really are investing in Scoodoodle being able to get a frag first. No, our man Omanek has actually dedicated himself to quad, so we'll probably have the opportunity to op Scoodoodle, as no one's here to flash for him, and he's just going to try to clear angles to get a frag. Also, number 3 man, Sean Gears, coming in for the flank, and he will see Scoodoodle at any moment, right?
Ooh, even hits him too. Brings Omanek down low. He legs him or hits him through the box. The nade's going to bounce to 0 damage, and now Sean shows up to save the day. Takes out Scoodoodle in mid. Automatic will find the kill on Omanek. But even the site is going to get mollied back out, so Automatic moves in, looks for another kill to try and make this fight a bit more palatable. Misses that chance, though. Is not going to be able to catch Shazam peeking out from Z. So Automatic sits alone in 1v3. Was able to guarantee the bomb plant at least, so gets that extra money for his team. There's a good flash of truck too, and has to quickly swing in, try to take out Sean. Won't make it happen. Shazam is going to take him out, and that's Misfits tying up the game now at 12-12.
Seem close, and it's getting really tight here for Cloud9. They need this map. First of all, they need this and the next map. But at this point, it looks like Misfits are really figuring their CT side out, looking a lot more solid, and another decisive round. This time, straight up B hit from Cloud9 that gets shut down. Door closed immediately, and they don't make it past the choke point. Shazam doing a good job of opping, Sean spotting and getting that early damage in, as well as staying alive late enough into the round to flank and kill one of the last players. And now another similar setup with this heavy mid control, as a few players from Cloud9 seem to be staged up towards an A hit. Bomb going through Squeaky. AKs for the whole squad, apart from Scoodoodle. But definitely looks like an A hit on the ducket.
We are going to continue to see Cloud9 shift themselves forward, ready for the execute out onto A. Flashes and smokes out across the board, letting them into the site. But that's not going to stop them from getting kills. Devo has already found one and dinks another one. Brings Stewie down very low to 21 HP. That'll force him to hide in the back for a little while. Cloud9 still gets site control though and found the plant. But it'll be a 5v4 with Stewie heavily injured. Barely any of the CT utility being used too. We're going to have Sick on a flank. A lot of this is making it look like Misfits should be able to easily retake this site when you look at the utility, the positioning. Everything works well for them, but it's all going to come down to the frags at the end of the day. They move in. Devo is struck first. No trades coming out until we see Tarek leap into the action. He picks up 2 for himself, but now he's the only man standing, and he won't stay that way for very long. Sick takes him out, and that's Misfits taking the lead now.
There were early warning signs. The initial kill from Misfits, Cloud9 having the sight, but not feeling safe enough to push to even up or even get an extra kill. And then, obviously, it looked like a very simple retake overall. Match pause is called. I'm not sure if it's TAC.
Should be TAC at this point. But
yeah.
Could be from the internet issues too, so we'll get clarification on that in a second. But while we're waiting for that, we're going to head back over to Trace, who has a score update for one of their matches.
All right, that's right. We're taking a look right now at got Luminosity and Rogue squaring off. It's a pretty quick bout, though. A lot riding on the line here, and you're going to see a 14-12 right away. And ultimately, a lot on the line here, especially for Cloud9, who is contingent on some of this. But either way, we're going to be giving it right back to Luminosity, who's having the time of their lives.
All right, guys. Well, coming back into our match here now. As we are going to see Ominik starting off in the next round. Just spam going across, trying to catch someone here from the T side, but no connection's going to be made. Dabo, though, has a very aggressive position inside of A main, and Skadoodle is going to be able to take him down to advantage to Cloud9 to start off the round. Only 1 kill, though, but it does give them a nice 5v4, which should certainly help with any confidence issues here.
It's been a pretty clinical performance on the CT side for Misfits, but here's one round where the man advantage actually goes the way of Cloud9 for once. Will they be able to take it and run with it is the question. Going to A makes much more sense in this situation, 5v4 as opposed to 4v5. But again, the Misfits' retakes have looked formidable and have sometimes ended with them having 3 alive, so who knows if that'll matter.
Misfits did end up backing away from A presence entirely, however, so this could come back to bite them with Cloud9 waltzing right in, getting the plant. Stewie walking out, quickly taking down Sick, but also getting traded just as fast. That will now, again, allow for Cloud9 to get the plant, but with 1 man down, still a chance for Misfits to retake this if they decide to go for the 3v4. T saved a couple smokes, however, so they're going to be able to delay this retake for a couple extra seconds. And it's honestly not even looking like Misfits will attempt it. They're just hanging out at mid and outside of Z. So I believe they're just going to call for the save here on these guns and let Cloud9 tie it up again at 13-13.
Yeah, so as long as, you know, Cloud9 are able to get the kills, it's looking a lot more reasonable for them to be able to go A, take out and take the rounds, and that was definitely very clean. I think a very important kill actually was Stewie's, and I feel like he was almost a little lucky there to hit that pretty insane flick onto Sick as they came out mid, because otherwise it would have been a 4v4, maybe a different round. Good spot from Sean Gares, however, to get those 2 kills, and this game isn't over. That money might matter. They also, you know, them having those 2 guns means something as well. They're going to drop these 2 ops almost certainly, rebuy up into this round. And again, look at these poor terrorists, no chance.
No chance at all, as Ominik also does a great job of distracting with the op shots coming through the door. And we do go into another pause here now that we're tied again. Is it tactical or technical, though? Looks like tactical. Okay. This time it's from Misfits, however, as Cloud9 took the last one.
They definitely have something to talk about. I think their rotates in were a little bit late, but they really had a good idea of Stewie being there and that he was likely going to come out mid. So they focused all their attention on it. And I think that they were set up for like the triple peak, and Stewie still found 1 kill, which was, I think, a lifesaver for Cloud9 for sure. Especially in a situation where just every small move matters so much. Now if they now they're going to a round, which is, it's kind of cool because like it's 13-13, but it also feels like in terms of this CT half, both teams have really shown their hand, have been forced to push their best tricks out versus the other team, and are both starting to do exactly what works. But I feel like Misfits still have a little bit more to show. So, you know, Cloud9 have made the adaptation, have won a couple rounds, but Misfits' setup I don't think is awful. I think they just need to, they actually just need to maybe have had 1 person more dedicated towards A, or potentially even try an A setup like this where if Cloud9 do decide to go A, well, they have it in the bag, and they've already shown that they can win a round on a full B. Double Shroud boost. Okay, we can call this the Ethan and Shroud. Why don't we do that?
The Ethan and Shroud play, I like it. And this is going to put 1 player up on top of the light post, as you can see, and another just in the usual position by the corner here. I've seen this done before. It wasn't executed that properly, though. So if they can make this work, this could be very, very detrimental to Cloud9. But that's going to assume Cloud9 go for another execute, which obviously is not set in stone just yet. Cloud9 essentially just playing into a default right now. So we're going to have to wait another 10 to 20 seconds or so before we see where Cloud9 want to take this. And thankfully, for those players that are playing boosted up, it does look like Cloud9 are going to set up to go in for at least mid, and then probably follow that up with A control.
Yeah, this is looking like a pretty promising round for Misfits. Obviously, not a very conventional setup, but they have the A player with an op watching highway, so these boost players can't have their spots compromised from a distance, and then a bunch of players in A main ready to ready to come out and get mowed down.
There's Devo already picking up the first kill. He will change position, and both of them on top will actually get blinded, but they still maintain. Devo finds a second kill now. He's out of ammo over to the pistol, but look at it. It's the he's even going to move forward, trying to pick up the AK-2. On the pistol, he's got the AK. Oh, but it'll be taken down by Skididdle through the box. Finally, a trade from Cloud9, and now they need to quickly move in. I think they're waiting for Tarek to get into position in Highway, and thankfully, all the shenanigans at A main have distracted Amin. He looks away. That lets Tarek get the kill. They haven't seen the second guy on top, but sick. Oh my goodness, whiffs half the clip away and just gets deleted by Rush. They still have this flank, but Rush is also watching for that. So with an excess of about 3 seconds, they get that bomb on the ground, and it falls to Shazam to clutch 1v2. Creeps in, going very, very slowly about this. Doesn't want to make any noise at all. Trying to give him the best position before he initiates against these 2 remaining Ts. So gets all the way through, around red box now, and will jump up on top. They don't hear him, but he misses the shot at point blank. Given a chance to correct it, though, will take down Rush. And now it's him versus Ska. Molly over the bomb, he'll take down Skidoodle, but does he have enough time? And after he waits this out, looking for a smoke, he's not going to be able to do that, so he has to wait for this Molly to go away. Diving into it, did he get onto it in time?
Yeah, he's got
I think he did it, so that will give the round to Misfits and send them up to 14.
Oh my god, man, that was almost such a disaster. They had that in spades. The second guy, Sick, didn't get cleared on boost. He had the perfect opportunity here to just wait. They weren't going to clear him, and he sees this, and he pulls the trigger so fast on Skidoodle when he could have just held on patiently, and his teammates weren't even in a position that he had to save them. I mean, Almanac had already died to a player coming up Highway. It was also his job, by the way, to make sure that Highway was clean, so if he just held on to that, that would have been a free frag. So, damn. Misfits trying their hardest to allow Cloud9 to win that, but Shazam coming in the clutch and winning that 1v2 for his squad. It's got to feel pretty good.
Absolutely. Definitely a scary moment for both teams there as they try to close out and take control over the lead. But now this has put Cloud9 into a very, very dire situation. 14-13. They are down 1 round, and look at the bye they have, too. They decide to force it, I believe.
They can't let it go to OT.
Can we check? Oh, that's very true. Can we check the money just to confirm that they did fully force? I mean,
oh, yeah, they fully forced. But at least this was a save.
Yeah.
They are rich.
Yeah, pretty much a full buy down for them. Just for the people at home to take notes if they want to. Now we see Sean already up on top. He's going to be able to chain together 2. This is not what they need. This is not how they want to start this off. And now they might just have to deal with overtime as they're getting absolutely shut down here. A few trades, but it's nowhere near enough. Misfits up to 15, and that automatically kills Cloud9's chances for a clean 2-0 in regulation.
And their chances of going to Odense with that game. Misfits make the 45th points right there. The magic number, and that's it. They're qualified. They should feel pretty good about this. I mean, just knowing that, and it was clear Cloud9 are fully aware of the circumstances, forcing in a situation where the game is so close, knowing that they could win an OT if they did save 1 more. But yeah, it's beyond lost at this moment, I think, officially. But maybe we get a second word at the end of the game to make sure.
Yeah, of course, we'll wait for final admin confirmation on all of this, but based on the knowledge we have, that should make it impossible for Cloud9 to catch up to Misfits at least and break them, which they would have had to win 2-0 in order to bump Misfits out of playoff contention.
And again, the reason is because at this point they're only able to get 2 points
per map
in overtime,
or for this map. Anyway.
Yeah, for this map. So losing a point by just simply losing the match point to Misfits.
Well, Sean already shutting out Stewie as they attempt to defend B early on here. Stewie kind of a lone wolf, it would seem, trying to make his own work in B, but got pretty quickly overwhelmed. And now we see the rest of Cloud9. Gonna do probably a slow walkout up towards A. Automatic was allowed mid-control, but Devo still shuts him out before he can do anything with that positioning. Now the rest of Cloud9 boiling out of A main are going to attempt to recover this round and at least take it to OT. Even with the plant going onto the ground, smoke's in the way, they'll continue to lose players, drop them 1 by 1 as Devo has now taken down Tarek. Skidoodle over peaks on top of the red box and loses his life to Shazam. Only Rush left alive here now in a 1v5 to try and save the team, keep them in this match and keep their playoff contentions alive, but that's not going to happen. Sean takes him down, so map number 1 between these 2 teams will end 16-13 for the Misfits, and that might very well mean for the first time in all 6 seasons of the ESL Pro League, if memory serves me correctly, we will not have Cloud9 at the Grand Finals.
Oof, that's pretty rough. That is pretty rough, and Odense of all places, somewhere we all want to go, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a pretty good map over. I mean, it was a very exciting map, first of all. And some of the adjustments that were made in the second half from Misfits were sick to watch. So, congratulations to them on their win. And, following that really hard loss versus Liquid, I think this was really good for them. And condolences to Cloud9 and Cloud9 fans.
Yeah, and again, like I said before, we'll wait for final confirmation just to affirm that that is indeed the case. But for now, we'll take it back over to our analyst to break down this map.
Well, that's right. It has happened. Seeing our first teams from tonight being guaranteed their spot in Denmark, and it's looking like
NRG and
the Misfits, boys,
are guaranteed through.
There it is. I wanted to keep the suspense going to keep you at home, just right there on the edge, but there you have it.
Yes.
NRG and the Misfits are going to Denmark.
Well, unfortunately for C9, I would be upset, but you got to take the positives. You have a great team. You guys are improving. Just got to find your medium, what really works for you guys. Hopefully the off season will help them.
Well, we're going to be jumping right back into the action here. CLG just on the cusp of making it to the LAN right now. They're sitting at a 14-12. We're going to throw it back to the commentators ready to bring us the rest of the action.
Thank you very much, Stunna, and we'll be diving right back into the matches. I believe it is live and currently rolling between these two teams. Splice, of course, was looking to upset to give Cloud9 a chance, but now that dream is dead, and all CLG must do to win this is, I believe, close out of this map, and they should be relatively secure. Although that's not going to be the way things will go here, although hold on. I'll reserve my judgment. We're getting, this is obviously an active thing going on. We're just jumping into this match. So Ethan is going to attempt to clutch a 1v3, and he's got the second kill. Just him versus Semphis. He knows generally where he came from, but that's where the split happens. He doesn't know if he went into the train yards or was at the bomb train. He's going to look for him here, sees his head, but Semphis will get the better of him, and that sends Splice back into this game now at 14-13, if he can find the bomb.
He's doing a victory lap just to rub it in, okay? So, yeah, so Splice after this, the start of this half, I think it was 10-6, and now it's actually 14-12 for CLG. So they had a pretty stellar T half to start this off. It's getting close though. It's very close. I mean, it really doesn't matter kind of at this point who's won the last rounds. I mean, you've only just got to pull out that secret strat that you were saving for the major. Just pull that out right now and get map point or get closer to map point.
Ethan continuing to try and win that out there, but unfortunately misses his initial volley, and that spells his death. So that has put Splice back on the map, back into this game. And now we have to see where the economy lies too, as obviously we did just kind of roll back into it, so we don't know for certain what kind of money CLG are working with. And ooh, it's not that much. They decide to pretty much just half buy here. And they'll try to win it out from 14 onward after they let Splice assumably tie it up. This assumes, of course, that CLG doesn't win this eco.
Yeah, and you don't want to put that past them, but this is definitely a good idea to hedge their bets on this round. You still have a good chance to win even with this. I mean, they would have upgraded, but not even had like an amazing buy. So we can see a lot of reasons they might want to do this. Also, they don't think they're going to worry too much about Splice's economy at this point. Again, just 2 rounds and close it out. So Splice, as much as they're thinking about the next round, they're also going to make sure that they don't let this one slip first of all. And for the sake of their economy, do it cleanly. So 3 players are ready to play inner together. There's our number 7 man, Semphis, in a great spot.
Semphis still trying to hold on the outskirts here, but no, he will get taken down. Davey and Roka shutting it out on this round, and Roka specifically nicely done with that work from on top. Burke is kind of going to awkwardly waltz through A, since he's the last man standing now. He's going to get something done here. Ooh, some good shots against Mitch, but Mitch is smart. He gets out of there. Avoids his death, trying to keep things stable for Splice here. And there we go. Finally baits him into walking into the open where Drone can knock him out, and that's Splice to tie it up at 14-all.
Oh, I actually think I misread initially when we looked at this game. I thought that Splice were playing T side in the second half, and I was kind of worried that they wouldn't be able to get a great half out of it. But their CT side probably going to be a little bit better. So if I'm CLG, definitely more worried at the moment. And with Splice finding their footing, this is definitely a heater. 2 rounds left, potentially, in this game. It definitely seems like there's high chance for OT, actually, considering how things have gone.
Since we jumped into it anyway.
And initial kill comes out. Big frag, but an instant trade. Great play from Semphis.
Semphis will continue to hold down below, too. He's got to be a little bit careful in the duel versus Ethan, because Ethan wanted to take that challenge, and he'll end up winning this next battle, but at a very heavy cost to his own life. He's down at 7 HP now after finding that frag.
It was kind of a 50-50 engagement, but they were 4 to 4 players. It's hard to say if that was definitely the best peak to take in that situation. But in exchange, they have pushed inner, and they did have a lot of info on where majority of the CLG players were. A couple at Ivy, at least 2 at ladder. So off of the back of that, getting aggressive makes sense. Will Davey overstay his welcome or actually push too aggressively? It looks like he might potentially get opt. It depends how impatient he gets.
See the rest of CLG slowly creeping up to Davies' position here, so he's going to be challenged, ready to pre-fire into it, and they hesitate around the corner, so this is going to let him multi-frag. Ethan's next. He was low. He could have actually stuck there and killed the last 2, but decided against it, and now we've got Ethan rolling out solo here onto the A site, and it's not going to be long before he's plastered onto the ground by Roka, and Drone finishes it off, putting Splice up to map point first.
Oh my God, that's a big win. This could be a big win for Splice. Guarantee a point here as they lock down OT. They pull it together at the end of the half after giving up a pistol round, a few rounds in a row. And this is a great play from Davey. Finds a great angle, is patient enough that he doesn't try to push too hard, even though they're down a man. So important that he played that position exactly like he did. You can see it didn't come much of it didn't come down to aim. It was just good positioning.
So if CLG do make it to OT, and I assume, as we're getting updates since this is going on actively, I believe what we were just told is that if CLG manages to make it to OT and wins, that at least will still be enough to guarantee land for them.
So they only have to win one map?
I believe so, yeah. Oh, okay, excuse me. So to clarify again, CLG only need 1 point, so they actually just need to tie this, and they're good.
They just need this last round.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or obviously the next map too. They could still win there.
Well, I mean, if they don't get this next round, then they have to get it in the next map.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see. The pressure's on.
Oh, that's pretty intense, man. Woo! This is how they sold tickets to the Coliseum. You gotta watch people fighting for their lives.
Fight to the death.
Oh my God, that is intense. I hope to never have to be in this situation.
You never thought Splice was going to be the guardian between sticking it to online play and land play.
Yeah,
that's
for
the
real.
case.
Look at that Snake's looking more fierce than ever. Holy smokes, that is intense, man.
Don't tread on me has never been more relevant.
Yeah.
So we will get back into it. The 30th round here.
Oh, and they don't have good guns.
It's going to be terrible guns, in
Terrible.
fact. Scout, a Galil, an Ump, a CZ, and a Deagle. It's all different guns, so a bit of a smorgasbord there from CLG, trying to put everything together on this last round. They do have...
Is it a topping for sandwiches?
Yeah, I guess it's... I don't actually know what that word means. It just... It's a fun word.
I think it's the thing that they use for seances.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. It's a Ouija board.
Well, CLG, at the very least with semi-decent utility, should be able to put together some type of execute here. But if not, it'll be Splice, and CLG will have to look for revenge on the next map if they want to stay in the running for playoffs.
Oh my God. I mean, they need 1 round just to get to OT, but this is literally the land point.
Mm-hmm. Davey, well, he'll be challenged early on at the back of upper. Falls back. Ethan will not be able to land at the kill. It's actually Ricky that gets it from further up at the entrance to upper there. And that was because they pushed the CT player here back earlier. But Roka and Ricky trading blows again. Splice have been put down relatively low. We can see they're down to just 3 players. CLG have the man advantage, but there's still so much utility left on Splice. They have all 3 players with mollies. Drone, interestingly enough, is using none of this as he creeps up. He wants to stay completely quiet. That lets him line up the first kill. Down will go Ethan. Kusta's next up here in middle, but he's not going to suspect it. So Kusta only chains together that 1 kill, traded up by Davey. After that, moves in, tries to ninja, and Semphis will basically secure it. Ricky spamming into it. No! He's not going to be able to stop the defuse, so Splice win it out in the 30th round. They come back for a lost lead and take control 16-14. They've denied CLG of their playoff ticket on this map, but there's still the 2nd map to go. For now, though, they are not safe just yet.
But there's only the 1 map to go. They have to do it next map. They came within 1 of closing this out right here and couldn't do it because one of those Galil bullets didn't touch the guy in the smoke. That he could basically see. That was insane.
So unfortunate. We'll take another look at that really quickly just to see it again here. Kusta with the hold. Big mistake by Drone, not checking it and expecting him. Davey's quick to trade it at least, but when he jumps onto the defuse here, Cutler attempts to go in for the knife. Semphis cuts him off at the back of the lane, and Ricky runs out of ammo and does not have time to quick switch. And even worse, Semphis actually killed him too. So he wasn't even going to be given that chance.
That's a tough pill to swallow, man.
Yeah. So that'll close out our segment right here. We'll once again send it back over to the analyst to figure out just where we are in playoff contention.
Just where we are in playoff contention, and I'm telling you guys, you're going to hate to hear this. Cloud9 will not be going to Denmark. That is simply put just how this one broke down at the end of the day. As it stands currently, our confirmed attendees thus far for the North American region: Optic, SK, Misfits, Liquid, and Energy. Now, we do have one more slot left, and that one is a toss-up between Counterlogic Gaming and Luminosity. And so ultimately, it's all come down to this.
So CLG has to just get 1 point to make it, and Luminosity has to win with CLG losing, because head-to-head, Luminosity lost to CLG.
So even if CLG were to have the same amount of points as LG at the end of the season, they would take that head-to-head and they would fill the final slot.
Right. So they couldn't have gone in with a tie. It has to be landslide to the 6th.
What was it that Launder said? It was like one bullet from the Galil could have changed the playoff trajectory. Isn't it funny how RNG works its way in?
It's crazy because you could even take that and relate it all the way back to history of America and stuff like that. I mean, it's one bullet, right?
So about Aaron Burr?
Look, doesn't matter. Long story short, we're going to be looking at this one from a different standpoint. You know, in our next matchup, we've got Splice and Counterlogic Gaming jump over to Cash. Then inversely, if you look at LG and Rogue, they're going to be squaring off on Inferno. So ultimately, where do we see this one going in terms of our last playoff spot, guys?
Well, Luminosity, I mean, I think that's their map choice is Inferno, so against Rogue. Actually,
Rogue's pretty darn good on Inferno,
so
too.
I don't know, then. That'd be a tough one to call.
I mean, obviously, LG need to win to keep
win.
both of these matches relevant, right? Because if LG just get wiped, then it doesn't matter, right? Because then CLG will just make it to the final.
Yes, by points.
Well, we do have 5 of 6 of our attendees here for the Pro League LAN Finals in Denmark. We will be determining our 6 here at the finals, at the conclusion of our next map. So make sure you're here with us when we come back. It's going to be either CLG or Luminosity going to Denmark.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Be focused. Be uncompromising. Be the best and never hold out. Pick your event. Place your bet. No matter who you are or what you're here for, it's our passion that unites us. Betway, for the love of the game.
It is a battle for the last spot here in a trip to Odense for Luminosity and Counterlogic Gaming, both vying for that 6th place spot as we work our way to finding out who that's going to be. I'm going to fly in the standings real quick to kind of better paint you a picture at home while Eric paints himself a Birmingham.
Wow, how did you do that from here? How did you make that show up? That's actually crazy.
I thought it, therefore it is.
I've been trying to figure out the pattern for the longest time. And I guess it comes down to CLG and LG. If CLG gets any points here, which means if they even go to overtime and lose, then no matter what LG do, they cannot make playoffs.
And that's because they have the better head-to-head.
That's right.
So let's make sure that we have that point out there as well. Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about two teams here just holding on to the very end. CLG having the upper hand in this point.
Yeah, holding on to the very end, and a lot of bitter memories doing that. But with CLG, I mean, again, as you said before, they just need a loss in overtime, and they make it. And Luminosity, well, who's going to win? Who do you think's going to win, Trace?
I think CLG barely beat Splice there. So ultimately, if a better CLG shows up right now, they should be, for all intents and purposes, walking away with this one. Anyway, let's take a look at this real quick to see how that one boiled over in the pot that is known as DE Train.
And this is where RNG comes the best. You see Ricky's up top. He's waiting. He's trying to get a kill. And look, I'm spraying. I'm spraying. It's the worst.
Should have bought a Negev.
Should have bought a Negev. At least you'd have 70 more bullets right there, or 65 if you want to do math.
I don't think we should go down that route because you don't really know how long it's been that he's been holding down mouse ones. You don't know how many Negev bullets he would have had.
Okay.
But
so let's not go there. Let's just say that it came down to 7 health and they could have already been to land. Keep it simple.
All right, let's go.
Well, listen, the parameters are this. LG must win in regulation while CLG loses in regulation. And with that, it's quite a weird sort of, all right, what if theory strike going on around here, different take on theory strike.
It could happen.
It could happen. And I'm going to say there's a 50% chance that it does happen.
Oh.
It's a weird sort of thing. When I started doing math, it was like 50% this, 50% that. But ultimately, the only percentages we need to see are from Betway. That's right, flying them in right now. The viewer at home picking Splice as the least favorite in winning that last spot to Odense.
Yeah, I think CLG, I mean, they should be the favorite. They are the better team on record, and in the history has shown that, you know, if you do better in tournaments, you should be the better team, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have it all to play for here, and Splice doesn't really have as much to play for. So sometimes that can actually help a team like Splice. Without any pressure, they can just, you know, come out, do business, get headshots, play the game, and have fun, right? They don't have to worry about any kind of ancillary, like, motivation. They just have fun playing the game that they enjoy.
It's weird because, and I'm not saying this about Splice, but there's also that same sort of connotation about, like, a dead team walking almost has that same vibe. It's like somehow they find success towards the very end. I don't know. It's some sort of weird, fresh breath.
At least they're not getting auto-relegated, right?
Auto-relegation is not somewhere you want to be. Let's go ahead and fly the standings in one more time before we jump into this matchup so that you can understand. James, will you please walk us through this?
All right, so basically the top 5 teams are going to be going to Denmark, and it all comes down to 6 and 7, CLG and Luminosity Gaming, right? So these last 2 maps are the only things that are going to change the playoff race. If CLG does anything except for lose straight out, right? If they make it to overtime, they go to playoffs. If they lose in overtime, they go to playoffs. If they win, they go to playoffs, right? So if they lose, they open the door for Luminosity to get to playoffs, only if Luminosity win.
Well, no matter what, no matter how you spin this, we're already living in the upside down when it comes to things having to happen one way for it to open the doorway to another dimension. And that dimension is a world where Cloud9 is not going to the playoffs yet. One of these 2 teams in CLG or Luminosity are. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to our commentators now who are ready to bring us the last map for the last time on the last night.
All right. Thank you very much. So that's a nice little.
That was kind of sad.
Nice little way to phrase it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all coming to an end.
Everything must come to an end eventually.
Wow, that was darker.
Yeah.
We went darker on that.
We all turn to dust and go back into the earth. But enough on that. Let's get a little bit brighter here and go back to things. The CLG still have a chance to qualify after dropping that last map there against Splice. They're going to go over towards, they're going to go over towards Cash to settle things here and see if they have the potential to push forward and make it into the playoffs still. Or if not, well, then that's going to open up an opportunity for LG to be able to do it. But that also relies on LG winning in regulation, not OT.
Winning in regulation, yeah. Which is, you know, that's another out at least. But yeah, I think at this point it's pretty even footing. Like Splice showed that they could beat CLG. They're playing them again. It seemed like maybe CLG succumbed to the pressure a little bit and couldn't close out that last map. Tough first half, good comeback, but then didn't close out those last few rounds. And then and Luminosity had a pretty big comeback, I think, on their map and won, or something of a comeback, and won their map. And now are playing another map where potentially they could straight up win it. So, I mean, I think, you know, it's not even about which one of these teams will qualify. Like, it's not even about will CLG qualify or not. It's who's going to qualify.
Well, to start it off, Mitch will get a good shot, but he's going to be very quickly overwhelmed after that. 4 guys suddenly peeking around the corner at the B-Halls will surprise you a little bit. Roka and Davey are holding it together. They're both of them picking up some kills, and with Davey's third, it leaves only Cutler alive in the corner with a few more shots from Davey. He'll seal the deal, giving Splice the advantage to start off the second map between these 2 teams.
On the Rodenze, Splice start out 1-0, quick start, good stuff. Simple headshots hit. B setup was fairly easy. There was nothing complicated about what they were doing. They just played a headshot and checker position, held that crossfire, waited for rotates, got all their headshots, and now have an anti-eco. It's actually CLG to force up quite a bit, and although Cutler doesn't have any armor, he also bought a scout, I think, because he was able to get a pistol kill in the first round. Good way to supplement that. And they have to try to find a crack in the defense.
It is going to be CLG continuing to play things very slowly here as they look, as you were saying, for a bit of a crack in the defense here. But not finding much at this point. Splice staying consistent, staying passive too. Which while Mitch will get tagged here at mid, and we'll open up some room for CLG to move in and take control. This is going to remain passive for Splice, it seems, up until the bitter end when CLG eventually have to group up and go for an execute in about, say, 15 seconds or so.
That would be the ideal situation. You don't want to leave it to the last 30 because you don't have time to rocket back if necessary, so on and so forth. They do have a player at A just to keep their options open. And it looks like, yeah, they are using him to help them go back to the other side of the map. Now, he actually walked out mid, which can be nice as well.
And with that control, he's going to be able to hold it right here for now, cutting off any earlier rotates from Z or anything like that. But the rest of the team still very much inching towards B. And they will move in with only 30 seconds remaining, but there is also only 1 player within the site. So another guy, Tree Room, he'll be smoked off, and he's going to continue to push through. Roka, for the most part, shutting down the hit, but finally traded out by Rikke. The rest of the team very split up, but Rikke is going to be able to continue doing work with the Deagle in his hand. It's brought it down to 3 CTs now, but with drones killed, it has put CLG on the back foot of things again, and Rikke is so close to being able to take out Semphis, but will fail just before he gets the kill. Cutler, though, holding on, gets one more for himself. And Semphis as well will be able to move back in, taking out Cutler and finally securing the second round for Splice.
It's a close round. Great shots hit from Ricky, and at least that was some economic damage dealt. Now Splice will rebuy up. They know that, they know that CLG won't be buying armor once again, so they can go ahead and invest in some of those cheaper SMGs. MP7 can cost quite a bit, but it's also, I mean, it's pretty good. It's definitely a good gun. It's just very expensive. And it's hard to recoup your losses when you go into a anti-eco. You've got to kill like multiple people. MP9, I feel like, solid gun, just as good of a chance. A lot cheaper.
Semphis is going to continue. Oh, trying to hide in that corner, but he's actually taken down early on here. Again, not necessarily the cleanest round to start, but they're recovering it nicely. A little flick there from Drone, too. And actually, Davey is the one that gets the full kill there, but Mitch will secure the final two, and much, much better from Splice that time.
Let's see what they do now. That Semphis is the one player that died. They actually, I was just curious if they're going to get an op. It looks like they're just going to have a rifle up on him. I think he stopped opping, and it looks like Mitch is going to be the one to pick it up. So this could be an interesting adjustment. Five AKs out for CLG, and again, the stakes couldn't be higher. Splice off to a 3-0 lead. If they actually win this, we'll be talking about whether or not LG are going to Odense as opposed to CLG, who the narrative was kind of around them just because they had such a high likelihood of doing it based on standings yesterday. But at this point, you know, it's 50-50 in my opinion.
Could go either way, and CLG are going to have to step up big time starting right now on these gun rounds if they want to be able to earn that 6th and final slot. We already have the other 5 slots locked down and confirmed between both of our teams, or all 5 of our teams, I guess I should say. And that once again is confirmed at this point to be Optic, SK, along with Misfits, Team Liquid, and NRG. So only 1 slot is remaining for North America here.
Oh, whoa. Spam through Squeaky. Nice headshot from Semphis, and it's already the 5v4.
Good way to start it for Splice if they want to keep this advantage going. Ethan begins to crawl out too. And with that position, he'll be able to find the trade over onto Semphis. Back down into a 4v4. Very light A presence too. Not only this, but Davey should get mollied out from quad. He's not going to be immediately eliminated, but they should have just seen him wrapping around here. He'll quickly pop flash himself forward. And it's a good one too, blinds up quite a few players, but he's still not able to get anything done. It's Roka that finds really the only kill in the back lane, and now he and Mitch are the only 2 players left alive. They've ultimately lost the massive advantage they had in defending this site before. They're now going to have to look for a 2v3 retake. They've got 2 smokes, quite a few flashbangs to get back into the site with 2, so they can bargain themselves quite a bit of room in order to get forward. Still, though, it's not going to be much if spams end up coming through the smoke and hitting them. Ethan taking down Roka will solidify a save from Mitch, and that's going to give CLG their first round on the board. Yeah, I wonder if he actually gets away. This bomb is okay. Yeah, Kus doesn't actually hunt that way, so not seeing him in CT, going to look in another place, and him being in their spawn, I think might catch him off guard. Very important, as I highlight this, very important that he holds on to the op. Incredibly valuable, but they lose the 5v4 after grabbing it so nicely, and Semphis gets killed at Forklift, and then the site gets taken. And I wonder if they couldn't have tightened up a little bit, but it was really good for CLG to not give up on the site, I think. It clearly was their best opportunity to try to win the round right there. They've still got to win 2 more to tie up. Splice put together a buy because they have this op to work with, and they actually pick up another op as well. And in situations where you're not necessarily keen on double opping, if you're on a force-up like this, having the best gun you could possibly get, like an op, can really complement another one when you've got SMGs and pistols in the middle. So now, with us getting ready for the next execute from CLG, things are going to continue to play out relatively slowly here. It's a bit of a slow opener to the map, or the round once again, with CLG not necessarily choosing to take control anywhere, but that's going to change now with Kusta going over top and taking quick mid control. They actually use quite a bit of utility in order to control this. At least 3 Molotovs getting thrown out there, so they've only got 1 left sitting on Kusta for the actual site take. This will open up mid for them. They're going to take easy control, and now it's just a matter of translating this onto one of the 2 sites. Roka also sits patiently in that corner, waiting for something to ring through. They definitely have an inkling that it's going to be coming over towards B, primarily because Semphis was allowed to hard push A main and was not punished for it at all. So he has all that intel over there. I think just off of that alone, they're going to assume it'll move into the B site. So they still got 2 at B. Roka, though, holds and gets the double kill from hiding inside here. Spam from the other side. Will trade him back out a second later. Ethan is the one that finally kills him. But you still have Davey on the site, and he's got an up to play with. That's a dangerous gun. Hits one, and drones on the right side, too, as he finds another pickup. Only FNS left alive now, and it's going to stay that way as he goes down. Drone takes him out, and Splice retake their advantage at 4-1.
That's a sick way to steal back the momentum. What a round from Roka. I mean, he had barely enough bullets. Last one to the face of Kusta, both falling at events. It's a tough shot to hit. I mean, you're following players in a position that you're not used to, at like a weird angle and distance and speed, and obviously, you know, it's Roka, so his laser-focused aim comes through, and suddenly CLG are saving once again. Critical moment where if they won that round, they'd be able to tie it up immediately. Probably would have been the double save for Splice, and you know, suddenly the tables have turned.
Smokes out early again from Splice, trying to restrict CLG if they wanted to go for a bit of a rush play. They're still going to go for it, and Drone seems to be ready to take the challenge, waiting at Forklift. It's not just him either. He has support further back behind him at the crossroads and on the site in a second, too, as Semphis is going to take up a position at quad. So if CLG did decide to roll in, they would be very ready to fight. It looks like they might be changing up their game plan, though. FNS got all the way into checkers without any contest at all. So that's a pretty good amount of control that he was able to get for free. Well, again, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to sway the rest of the team and convince them to execute into that site, as they still have 3-4 players lined up ready to go into A at a moment's notice. And also, FNS is now dead, so that has limited their options even more so. Semphis holds. He is going to get randomly dinked there, but it's not for all that much damage. Only knocks off 20 of his HP. And simply a matter of time, really, for me, although, oh no, maybe not. Ricky and Cutler both getting a kill on the Deagle. With their health pools being drained down this low, it's still going to make it very, very tough to win out in a 2v3. Back outside, so a little bit curious where he's headed.
Oh, someone might hear this. Yeah, Roka's already made his way to vents just in case. And so they might rocket back. But they're also pulling a couple of CTs out, so we'll see if this has an adverse effect. Spawn works it back way back to A.
A big 2v2 on the site because Roka's still positioned away, but Mitch has found Ricky coming outside now, and Cutler is low as he is. Just 1 or 2 more bullets will finish off the job, and it'll be Davey that does it finally. Splice do secure the round and put it up to 5-1 in their favor. Also going to be a pause, I assume, from CLG.
Yeah, well, they gave it a shot, and we're gonna throw it to Trace to get an update on LG.
Luminosity picking up a huge round right there in an effort to find their way to 16 rounds. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the scoreboard here. You're going to see how this one's breaking down across. As you can see, Shinobi having a pretty good game alongside Aneka's down there for Luminosity. Either way, they do have their work cut out for them still. We got 6 rounds in. We're going for 7, and we're going to be cutting back into the other game here any second now, so make sure you don't go anywhere.
All right, thank you very much, Sutta. And our game over here should be resuming now. Splice continues try and dash CLG's dreams and got them out of the running for playoff contention. That does rely, of course, on Luminosity still losing outright their other match. But we'll have to wait and see exactly how that goes. This time it's going to be very aggressive from Splice, pushing into A main. They've already got their first kill on the board. Ricky doesn't stand a chance there, as he was not ready for that fight at all. And on a round where CLG not only have now limited manpower, aside the limited utility that you can already see, which would become a problem for them. This is going to make things even more difficult. Oh, that jump.
Noise.
They're still going to commit to it, though. They know they're here. Davey just spots the feet of Ethan. That's going to bring him down low. However, they do... Ooh, look at this. Davey's playing with fire right now. Gets himself up on top of the light post. Just nonchalantly closes the door on the way back to NBK spot, and he'll be safe to hang out over here.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth. That was a pretty smooth move from Davey to close the door as well and reset CLG.
They, for the most part, been countered out here now, so they're going to fall back and away from A main, giving up on this quest for right now. However, not giving up on it entirely, it would seem. Looks like they're actually going to roll back in a second and try to recommit from A main. I think more than anything, they were just scared of the CTs establishing more aggressive presence here, so wanted to avoid that, and they got themselves out of dodge. But now they're going to be ready to re-execute, and it is a 2-2 split for the CTs, so Defensive setup is going to be a little bit weak if they're not able to multi-frag. Drone will probably take the first contest as he hears players rolling back out. He's got the off angle, though, so it's going to be a bit difficult. Relies on Davey. Drone, a smooth second kill, though, as he begins to shut these players down, and he'll grab one more before being traded by FNS. FNS now stands alone with very little control, but okay, just walks over into the forklift lane, and Davey's not even looking at him. He easily takes him down from there. Spots other player at upper, will throw the smoke onto the ground and give a ruin to plant, but look at that, tries to mind game Roka, but Roka will get the better of him, and Splice close out on the round once again.
Man, it would have been just too late, and a 6-1 lead now for Splice. And again, this is getting into the critical territory. They're having a great half so far. Luminosity are winning their game. It's seriously looking like the narrative's changing quickly, and it's very surprising. I mean, to get this 2-0 out of Splice, especially this late in the season, we definitely looked at CLG to be the more dominant team. Now it's another eco setup. There's 2 in B, so Mitch has some support, and we'll eat this flash.
Amazed he didn't hit that upshot too, given the amount of T players out there, but Roka is going to come in for the assist as he picks up a quick 3 kills, and Mitch cleans up the stragglers to give Splice a very quick 7th round.
Damn, 7-1, beast mode right now, and that was a clean eco, tons of money made, lots of rounds left in the half to use it. Good flash here to support, and the Molotov as well, so even past the op shot getting missed, it works out nicely.
Really clean kills coming out from Roka there too, even with the slightly awkward angle that he had to work off of, still manages to spray down and get a massive amount of kills against CLG and punish them once again. But this does finally take them into another gun round where they have full utility. No op to be seen, unfortunately, but they do have 5 AKs and full utility for each and every single player. The best that they could look for here. As they once again will try to put a 2nd round onto the board for themselves. Find some way to fight back into this and stay in the running for playoff contention. Very slow again from them, and in the time that they choose not to take any control across the map and sit back, it does appear as though Splice are going to take an advantage upon that. They push in towards A main and hold great control there. And it looks like once again have gone for the double boost up on top of Shroud spot there too, but should only keep 1 player there. As now Mitch has been eliminated at mid, so they're going to need to put a little bit more focus on still keeping presence at mid to at least watch for intel.
Yeah, mid-control is going to be huge here. It was good they got that opening frag. They found a perfect spot to attack and barely took any damage for it. But with that Shroud boost, an A hit might be a little bit harder to deal with, a little bit harder for them to take.
Drone's still going to be positioned helping out the Shroud boost player, but Davey swinging out from Z comes out at the bottom of a fight. So does Semphis because they take the highway route, so the Shroud boost is not a surprise anymore. In fact, for the most part, Splice get utterly destroyed, and Ethan's attempt to kill Roka will fail outright. So Roka survives for now, but he's definitely not going to be attempting the retake. It's time for him to fall back, save this AK for another fight in another day, and that will let CLG finally get a 2nd round up onto the board for themselves.
Yeah, that's important. They did it with majority alive, so they're less worried about getting reset. Though they're in that for perpetuity until they win a 2nd clean round in a row. So it's gonna be important that they do that because of all these rebuys necessary. So Splice definitely want to capitalize in this next round. They've got tons of money to work with. They could really make it hard for CLG. All the utility they need, Molotovs. They can go double op if they want to. They can grab an auto sniper if they're feeling BM,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta play to win, dude. No shame.
Whatever gets to the W.
Channel you get right. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see what Splice are going to put together here. Still should be a pretty decent buy for themselves even after their loss like that. But yeah, again, you can see that Shroud boost position is just not going to work out when the main execute is coming up highway. Unfortunately, it becomes a very exposed position at that point. Unless you have someone dedicated watching it, it's very easy for yourself to get traded.
That was an awful way to use all those CZ bullets. It's basically a disposable gun. You gotta be careful with this, man.
Drone, though, it's going to get knocked out by FNS, spamming through the smoke. He gets an early kill off of that, which is going to be great for CLG. Exactly what they need to continue picking up these rounds here. Semphis is going to get aggressive, though, and this is a bit dangerous for him. So yeah, not too surprising to see him fall back after just holding that position for a few seconds. They even still have the guy in vents, too, so be a little bit overkill to have that additional presence there, especially since CLG have not gone for, in the past anyway, not gone for a massive amount of mid control. Last round was a bit of an exception. And now in an attempt to get revenge for the kill against Drone. They are going to boost over the top, and that puts Davey right behind these players. They might have heard them drop down. In fact, they did. FNS instantly takes down Davey, and now reduces the Splice roster to only 3 players.
Well, what do they do from here? It's actually a great round from CLG. They're picking apart every kill. Oh, opportunity to trade back, but Ethan makes it weird.
Nasty for Mitch. Is not going to be able to pick up anything. It's left to Roka again, and he's in a 1v5, so nothing really recoverable in this round, just trying to save the AK. And even doing that might prove to be a little bit difficult here, with Roka continuing to inch forward, and Ethan positioned to stop him. However, he crosses back into CT, and Roka remains safe in the B site.
Roka's definitely been Weapon X on this team, I think, in a couple of these rounds. But I think with CLG avoiding him, it's been a good call. It's also Splicer getting thinned out a little bit. There's no trades available for them, like when they've been able to take mid. So it's been a key factor for CLG to get that open and kill cleanly. And they make it the 5v3, they execute, like, you know, all the common things you need to do. And it looks like CLG are not intent on looking for Roka, which is probably smart for them. Because they still got to prove themselves in this half. But again, that's the second round that they get. And they've got a ton of money left over now. So that's a much better place to be in for CLG. It's looking like way more of a real game. I mean, seriously, like the game could have ended right there if Splice straight up took this.
I mean, you can see some of those entries moving in again, and that bit of a nasty spray from Mitch that ends up costing him in that second 1v1 there. And it has brought Splice's economy down to pretty much its end point. We can see one final investment for them, and it's not too bad, but if they continue to fail on these rounds or give away kills early on like we've seen in the past 2 rounds that let CLG have a very straightforward execute, that will lead to them being broken, and potentially CLG now coming back into this matchup with something close to 5 or 6 to 7. Roka has the boosted up position though, and we saw that was going to lead to something if a player ended up going into Sunderm, and so in this case it does. Roka will be able to take down Ricket early on, and that's a free kill. Basically 0 damage is traded from it.
Yeah, beast kill. They've got kind of a low buy here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they went for some more information. I'm not sure if they're intending to, but they did see the bomb, so they know that, you know, CLG are going to be very careful about retrieving it, realizing that Splice could try to come out and hold them off of getting it, but it is far away that it seems like they're not going to call for any CTs to move. That being said, CLG also take further map control in the process. So kind of a 2-for-1 deal here as Ethan has worked his way up to white box and is now a threat to A as well.
Ethan continuing to hide in the back corner, but Drone as well, looking for his own opportunity to flash back out and take down Ethan as he has overstepped his bounds. A little bit of great flashbang, completely blinds him and allows for Drone to get the kill on Ethan essentially for free.
That was awesome. You see he was planning to flash for himself and then got his teammate to do it.
Now Semphis is in this cubby position too. Oh no, the molly spread though, but
it's doing like 2 damage hit.
Yeah. So he was able to get back out of it, so they assume that that's clear. Big mistake. Semphis takes them both down. Kusta will not be able to hold besides the 1 trade kill on Drone. And that's it. Splice come back in with the lead at 8-3, but they aren't going to break CLG so easily. They still have at least 1 more full buy.
Yeah, and it all starts with this one play, and sometimes like a gimmick is all you need. I mean, this is is a dangerous boost just because you're committing 2 players, both of them on the B site. And if someone snuck up the checkers, they could easily take this tower down. But if you know that the team is going to set up in like some kind of default, and teams will always go sunroom with their single player, that you can just capitalize on that. That can just really change the whole game for you. So. Great round, but CLG, because they did a great job in winning those 2 rounds in a row, have another buy. Semphis going up with a repeat, hits a quick flick onto Ethan. That was pretty intense.
Intense stuff from Semphis, and that's going to once again give Splice a massive advantage. Another 1-for-1 trade happens, but it's a bit of a peculiar one. Kusta knocks out Drone, but Drone gets his revenge from the grave with an HE grenade. So that brings the CLG roster down to just 2, and now 1, with Davey picking up 1 more kill, and he'll also close it out, taking down FNS. Splice only 1 round away now from getting up into double digits still all in the first half.
Oh man, it's turned into a really fearsome half, and now we're going to get an update on the LG game because we need to know where they're at. So Trace, let us know.
That's right. Luminosity sitting at a 7-4 lead over Rogue as we go into the later part of this first half. It's been quite a turbulent money game for both sides. But we'll take a quick look at how these teams are putting together. CT a little bit rocky from Rogue, but some of the retakes have been looking a little bit stronger. However, is it going to be enough to take down the likes of Luminosity and the playoff race for them? Here we go, going back into Splice Counterlogic Gaming here real shortly. Yeah, so there's that.
Thank you very much, Stunna. We're back to our game now, and we should be resuming it in just a second, as the pause, I believe, should be almost over between these two teams. But CLG, needless to say, are struggling in a very big way here, and it could end up costing them their playoffs if they're not careful.
Yeah, man, they got to be more than not careful, man. They need to turn this completely around. And Luminosity looked good, man. They had that bunch of rounds in a row. Part of that half that Rogue of the rounds that Rogue have are 2 from the pistol, and then like 2 of the last 3 rounds. But we see there in that situation a 3v, like 1 after plant situation. So it seems like suddenly Luminosity are figuring their T-side out again. It's potential for a much better half of them. So 7-3 right now. Splice up 9-3. It's looking kind of grim for CLG, won't lie. I mean, Luminosity are starting to impress for sure.
CLG on a completely saved round here, and with them already getting destroyed by nades early in the round, this should go pretty much as expected. Already 3 of their players dead. The last 2 going to try to rush through B halls, but got Roka ready to stop that. And if he fails, Mitch is there too. But Roka's going to be able to handle it, and it's pretty much, like I said before, as expected. A clean round from Splice as they now get up to 10.
Yeah, easy anti-eco. Simple op shots hits, known going down, and shooting fish in a barrel for Splice, who have maximum potential now for a 12-3 half. If they do get this one rifle rounds, then they pretty much have that in the bag. So if CLG can stop the bleeding early, they can get 5 rounds, and that'll be a much better half, even though it's still lackluster.
Semphis now getting a lot more aggressive here since the play from 2 rounds back worked out well for him. Oh, this time, though, it's Ethan that manages to take down Semphis very early on. Catches him, flashes him out, and with the position on boost, gets a first advantage for CLG that so far has gone unanswered, but it's not going to stay that way for very long. Davey just barely spotting the head of Ethan, now trades him back, and we're even again in a 4v4.
Yeah, Semphis. It's actually drone moving into forklift, and Davey from the truck. They've given up mid, played 2-2 sites. I like that. Once you have 1 mid, I don't think there's a good case to need to try to retake it. And they might pull rotates, however, because there's 2 people over towards B, so they're really going to try to sell this fake.
Very, very heavy presence being put onto it, but look at this drone. Already stopping 1 player in A main, so the jig is up. This fake is not going to work if they continue on it.
Yeah, they saw the bomb, right? They must have, if they killed 1 in A main.
Color's keeping an eye on it, so I'm pretty sure drone saw him, which would mean he's going to have to wrap back around and over into the B site if they want to try to find a way to commit. But even B is very well defended currently. Mitch on the site, and oh, he might get caught on timing, but no, Roka just sitting in tree room gets the first kill scot-free. The second one is his as well, so Cutler's now the last man standing. There's really nothing he could do to help his team besides this. He was sitting back with the bomb, trying to stay safe, and now he's been left alone with an impossible task in front of him. Can't even get the first kill. Davey takes him down, and that's Splice at 11 rounds as we go into the final one of the half.
That was kind of a weird round. I mean, after the drone calls out in the 4v4, goes for the information, gets that opening kill, and then the 2 players at B still commit, but then the 1 player with the bomb is like walking back from A main, and if his teammates get the kills in B, then he's gonna go plant it at site that they have to go back to. But if he's not going towards B, why are they committing if he's the only one with the bomb? So it seemed like a really weird situation, and maybe CLG are losing a bit of clarity, but Splice about to have a fantastic half. And look at this man.
Drone, he's going to be able to push forward and just dominate the entire CLG roster. Kusta, Ethan, both getting knocked out. And we have FNS as well trying to boost over the top here, but that's still being spotted for by Mitch. He won't immediately kill him, but after some time is going to be able to lock down that headshot. Roka does get spotted on a flank, but still, ooh, okay, hold on now, because Ricky also takes down Semphis, so this has all of a sudden brought the round back to life, and what was seeming to be another Splice shutdown, now it's an even bout down to a 2v2. Cutler, though, might have just been heard, or excuse me, Mitch might have just heard Cutler.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to blow a man advantage, and in a situation where the other team doesn't have great guns or anything like that. But this round still might not be over. Mitch is here pretty aggressively on the boost. It's not a great place to be just because someone goes over the boost, okay, but then if someone comes walking out mid, they see your feet. You've got to flick pretty quickly and adjust. So it's kind of a 50-50, but it is also a 2v2, and they probably don't feel that safe.
They're just going to keep falling back.
We already have the info on B.
So he's going to be able to go back up to the site and spot for this. He's still going to be alone, though. That's what he's got to be careful of. Davies quite a long while away, but a smoke will delay that fight temporarily. However, with the smoke in position, I believe... Oh, no, Cutler's checking for it, but looks away right now. Did he see him come out of the smoke? Apparently he did. Cutler instantly knocks out Mitch, but we've got Davey, and he should have gotten the trade there. Might still be able to get it with the molly, but he's got to be very careful. The spam goes in. It takes down Cutler, but he runs out of ammo right before he kills Ricky. He's still alive at 7 HP. Well, he's off the bomb. Davey's got to move a little bit quicker than this. He's still got the molly in the way. Pushes right through the molly in order to get the kill, and it's not even over the bomb. So Davey's got plenty of time to defuse this and secure number 12 for Splice as they take a massive lead at the end of the first half. Stick with us, ladies and gentlemen, to see if CLG can come back at all as their playoff dream quickly becomes a playoff nightmare here. They're going to have to recover right after this.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odenday, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
We are back again, guys, with the final day of action here at EPL. The day just keeps getting more and more interesting because of the fact that Splice won on that previous map, they actually overtook Immortals' position, which is just out of relegation, which now means Immortals are going to have to play a relegation match to stay in Pro League next season. And that is certainly not something anyone would have expected coming into the start of this season.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. So, I mean, of all the teams, depending on where the roster lands next season, I would be kind of comfortable with the thought of Immortals have to play against some premier NA team to make sure that they could stay in. Or do they play against a? They would play against a premier.
They would play in that position. I think they play against the third place premier team.
Okay.
If I remember it.
Yeah, honestly, it's one match. You don't want to put anything to one match, but I think that it'd be okay for them, more so than another team like Rogue, Ghost, or.
It depends on and I'm actually just remembering now because last thing they did as a full-on bracket. So it might not be just one match. It might actually be like a full like best of 3 bracket that they have to play through too. So I think it's them, the other team that's playing relegation, which at the moment I think is Rogue, and then obviously the 2 premier teams that didn't get first but get in second and third. So the second and third place premier / Mountain Dew League teams, and then the second to last 2 Pro League teams, which in this case is going to be probably Rogue and Immortals.
Okay. Yeah, but that's a pretty intense situation to be in. Kind of interesting that we see that develop with the Splice victory and what looks like back-to-back Splice victories. This is a pretty damning half. I mean, the 12-3, they 4 rounds and they literally like destroyed CLG's potential chances of winning. LG are winning their match too. I mean, we literally went from drawing a narrative about how CLG were looking like they were going to Odense to Luminosity are almost certainly going.
They were
to Odense.
1 round away.
One
from the
point.
last map.
And
yeah.
one round
away.
1 round away.
Which is really just, it might be the icing on the cake, unfortunately, for the CLG roster.
And it wasn't like 1 round away where you have 5 alive. I don't know, like it was 1 round away where 1 bullet made the difference.
Yep, literally 1 bullet could have decided if they went to playoffs or not. So,
and maybe you shouldn't have come that close. There's always that argument, but it was like 1 bullet. Maybe Ricky shouldn't have crouched. Maybe.
Who knows, you know?
So much, but they can still recover here as they get the first 3 kills in the pistol. Traded back, however, with Semphis and Davey, which is going to let the 2 remaining players in Splice get onto the site. Davey's got dualies, which is always fun. He's already got a kill with it, too, so let's see if he can pick up anything more than that. The jumping at quad, I'm usually not a fan of. So if CLG saw that, they're going to know he's back here, Semphis. Ooh, hiding in plain sight, though. Trying to hide the smoke. He gets taken down. Davey, he's trying to go cowboy style here, but it's not going to happen. Kusta takes him down. And it'll be CLG that win the pistol and buy a ticket to get back into this game.
Maybe they had different cereal. You know, maybe they didn't go to the gym last night. Maybe they didn't get 8 hours.
CLG or Splice?
Maybe it just wasn't a good sleep. Maybe it was 8 hours, but it wasn't quality REM sleep.
That's getting scientific there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to put sleep monitors on players now to make sure they're getting enough.
I mean, who knows what it comes down to, dude? It could have been Gaben, but it could have been something personal. It could have been, who knows, pistols. It just, one round, one moment.
One bullet.
One bullet.
Whew.
The documentary with the sad, sad ending.
Of the downfall of CLG.
Oh my God.
So let's see here for Splice if they can recover on this, as they did do the raid boss by second round, which I'm always a big fan of. It's interesting, it shakes things up a little bit. It's not going to start too well. They lose the Deagle player right out, or they lose the AK player right off the bat. That's going to be Roka taken out.
Let's see. Seems like CLG have pretty good control over this round. Man up. Splice have invested as well. Can't recover, or there's no gun to recover, it seems. And with mid control, are poised for the B split. Rotates haven't come up for CLG, so maybe there's a chance here.
Okay, still holding, however. Oh, at the position over here at head glitch, but that's going to be Semphis taking him down as soon as he peeks up. Oh, and even worse, Cutler also goes down completely unanswered. Kusta is going to have to move in and save this. He gets the first trade. We'll have to look for a lot more than that. There's still 3 players from Splice well and standing. They did see Semphis go back to the B halls. There won't be any flank to worry about, so this does serve to help CLG a little bit. But at the same time, CLG are coming back in directly from Tree Room in Heaven, which is always a little bit difficult to make that happen. Good news is, though, the smoke over at Team A lets Kusta spam, and he gets 2 more kills. All the work is being done by Kusta currently. Now, the layer they haven't checked is going to be back over here at Checkers. A sacrifice. Oh my God,
no.
Drone lines up these shots. It's amazing he doesn't immediately kill the 3rd player, but now FNS spamming it down. He doesn't have the angle for this. He's going to have to go out. He's got a kit. He'll get the kill, though, and Splice upset. Steal the round right out of CLG's hands, and now Splice is 3 away from beating CLG and potentially killing their playoff chances.
It had to be a Galil, didn't it?
Had to be a Galil.
Oh my God.
And after Kusta does so much work, too, to get them that way back into the site, it all just falls apart so quickly.
Kusta did everything. He saw Semphis jumping away, throws the B main smoke. Semphis has a kind of a, I don't know what he was doing, spraying through the smoke standing there. He needed to really stay alive. That was not a fight. He had a better likelihood of winning considering his whole body was exposed and only Kusta's head was there. But, you know, Drone comes through with a 1v3 with the Galil after all is said and done. Unbelievable.
Of course, CLG are going to look to upset in response to that kind of a loss, so they buy into this one as heavily as they can. And they have started off with a 1-1 trade, which is also going to give FNS the capability to walk right in and pick up the MAC-10. So he's got a little bit of extra firepower to play with here at the edge of the squeaky hallway. He's going to have to make sure that he stays ready for that, though, as I believe Splice are going to try to push him out in a moment here. They'll do it together, though, but that's a bit of a tight choke point. You can't really send 2 players through that. Thankfully for Splice, Mitch wins in the initial duel, takes him down, and drops the only real weapon that CLG have in this round.
Oh, nade comes out just in time. Davey gets tagged with the smoke. Guys, is his escape, and the bomb as well is escorted out. Who knows what would have happened if they got that kill and pushed through.
Cutler still picked up 1 kill elsewhere. And Ricky, the snapshot on Naroka. Say goodbye to him. No way he's surviving that. Make the plant just to make sure there's no one that surprises them and hides close by. But with the bomb down, it's still a 2v3. CLG are not out of this round by any means necessary. Drone spots that lighter player, but he spots him too late. He's going to get aggressive, though, pushing the truck. Finds the kill on Ricky. Ethan will push him, trying to find the trade. It's a messy spray from Drone, but on one of the last bullets, he hits the headshot, knocking out Ethan. Cutler's now the last man standing, and Semphis will get the easy closeout. Back by NBK to give Splice their 14th, and now completely break CLG's money.
Damn. Oh my God, another one. Nail in the coffin. And we're going to go right back to Trace. It's getting tight for CLG, but it's also maybe tight for LG. We'll find out. Trace, let us know.
Wow. Who would have ever thought that the season would have ended up this way? Right now, we're sitting at a 13-8 scoreline currently. as we look back at a 13-6. Either way, if CLG lose and LG win, Luminosity is going to the playoffs and not CLG. An interesting way that this one has turned out and just how close it has been. LG showing up in their own and Shinobi doing as much as he can over Rogue, but it's probably not going to be enough at the end of the day. Let's see how the rest of this one plays out.
Thank you very much, Stunna. So once again, we should remind you guys of how this is going to work if CLG loses. That's the current way that things are going. If they lose, the only way that CLG will at that point make it into playoffs is if we see a loss from Luminosity in their game. With them being ahead 13-6, that's also unlikely at this point in time. So we will have to wait and see, of course, for that result. But with the way things are currently going, it is looking very likely that Luminosity will be taking the 6th slot at Pro League Finals, not CLG.
That is unbelievable. That is actually crazy.
And not the best way to start off one of the last 4 spies from CLG either. Cutler over-peaking slightly at Checkers, gives him away, and he was the only one defending B. So Splice have already got the site under control, and in the next 2 to 3 seconds, the bomb's going down. I think CLG are just going to call for a... oh, maybe not now that they've got that kill. I was going to say they might have called for a save here, but I think now that they've at least evened it out into a 4v4, they'll find some right to go back into B and try to retake here. This is it. They put all their chips on the table. 1-for-1 trades won't save the day here. They need clean kills like that from Ethan. And this is exactly what... oh my goodness, Ricky actually spans, but Drone does work once again. That second kill was very impressive from him. And it falls to Roka to close out from up on top of the site. He gets the frag. Splicer up on match, an upset point to stop CLG from going to the Odense finals.
Oh my God, it's actually at the point. And again, you know, they could get to OT and still get the point here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it though. This is it's perpetually on their mind. Match point. They're getting dominated right now by Splice. Drone's going in on them. These 2Ks are absolutely critical, and this is just also surprising. I need help processing. I need an adult.
Of course, we still have to wait for LG's win to confirm that CLG would not be going to the grand finals. We'll reserve our judgment on that until it does happen. Ricky actually get the first kill this time, but the scout, they got multiple scouts in their hands. Here, the double scout buy-up from CLG, obviously working with a scrap buy here. They find the flank from Kusta, taking him down, and they catch Ethan on top of Truck. Molly's also going to burn Ricky out of position. They're shutting it down. It's still recoverable for CLG, especially with FNS moving in at an A main flank. But if he fails to impress, and Cutler is spotted early enough, this will be the end of the legacy for CLG. And more than likely, they will not end up at the grand finals. FNS initiates. Oh. He did not see that player up on top, so he walks in. They both find each other. He panics a little bit as Semphis drops back down. Cutler will trade that, but Cutler has been overwhelmed, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Splice take control here, and they will be able to steal the match away from CLG. A 2-0 for them, meaning CLG getting 0 points on their final matches. They're currently stuck at, I believe, 42 or 32 points. Regardless, it's 2 points behind what LG have, which means that if LG win their match, which we're going to go right into now, then they will be the 6th team to go to the Odense finals for North America. Let's jump into that match, though, and see what's going to be happening.
Yeah, let's get in there before we miss too much.
Ooh.
13-10, and Rogue actually just won a round as well. Now, they were touting Rogue's Inferno on the desk, so that is something. Also, LG have only won the first 3 rounds in this half, so there is actually, it seems like, huge potential for Rogue to come back into this.
Yeah, it was 13-6 when we checked on it last with Stunna, so this has already been a pretty massive comeback from Rogue.
Oh my God, this is intense.
They're trying to keep it going.
And do Rogue have anything to play for? Or are they just, no matter what, getting...
I don't know if they can pass Immortals or not, because that would be the only thing, is just a higher seeding going into the playoffs to the relegation tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the only thing they would play off of. So no, they were just told they cannot pass Immortals, so nothing's going to change for Rogue. It's simply to now deny Luminosity of a playoff slot if they can do this.
And you know, the win for confidence and so forth, and not looking you know as bad as they have just overall in EPL. Honor, pride, and all that.
Yeah.
All the lame stuff that doesn't actually get you anything.
Well, it's going to be up to Hiko and his new roster here to try and save CLG, keep them in playoff contention by winning here. If they can take it to OT, I think it might help their chances. Neck is with a good position, though, spamming in. It's quite a bit of damage done, but only those 2 kills. And his teammate kind of left him out to dry here.
Yeah, you freaking ditched him, dude. Yeah, why you threw a smoke down your teammates there. He's still alive, man.
I was like, all right, Neckez, you got
Just
this.
hold that op down. That would have been a free kill. Neckez would have been alive. Probably would have got the ace, too. That was ruthless.
I'm going to head back to the site. See you later.
This round's not over. Like, this is an important round, but it's not over.
So Rogue are going to lurk up and
holy shoot,
change this into an A hit. It's
2-2
split,
man.
Yeah, pretty much.
You and your friend invites you to go bird watching just to steal your binoculars.
That's not even getting baited. That's just outright getting left alone. So we have Rogue going in for the entry, and it's a clean one, too. Look at that from Vice. 2 quick kills from him on a PKL and Showtime. Just barely leaving themselves enough time to play it, great, but they get the job done, and now it's going to be a 2v3 retake from Luminosity. Seems like ditching your teammate might end up costing you the round, but we'll have to see if Cello and Yell can make something of this situation. Molly's going to delay it. They know there's one in pit off of that, but they're going to call it off. Looks like they're going to fall back and save, actually.
See the power of instant kills, right? And that's an insane round from Vice. I mean, they definitely needed that. Dude, this round should have been over. This is all because Yells hates Luminosity. Hates his teammates. Why does he hate them?
Just a shame.
What on earth did we just witness?
So Yell ditching his teammate back over there at top mid, along with other factors, have now allowed for Rogue to win another round.
I'm never gonna go hiking with Yell.
But Bear shows up. He just runs. He's the one that sets off the bear.
I just pictured the bear showing up.
All right, well, we're going to see attack pause here from LG. Won't be going to check out another match, as this is the only match that matters now in terms of the playoff contention. This is it right here. This decides our 6th team. The result of this one will determine if it's CLG or LG going to the Odense LAN Finals.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine CLG just rooting their asses off for Rogue right now. I can imagine, like, you know, well, actually, oh wait, they didn't get 45 points though. If Luminosity don't,
yeah,
okay,
it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
I don't think there's any, because if they tiebreaker to CLG still wins.
Right.
So I think LG also has to win in regulation, if I'm correct on that. Yeah, they cannot win it in OT. If it goes to OT at that point, CLG also will still make it.
Okay, so there's still definitely hope then for CLG. It looked like this game was over, but I also thought that last series was going to be, you know, going the way of CLG. So I guess both stories have changed considerably.
CLG just can't catch a break recently, and Cadian's not going to be able to catch a break either as he runs into a big train of mollies there. Let's quickly hightail it back around the other direction. Wow, that was some quick reflexes on that smoke there. Instantly de-ignited that thing, and wow, the CT's actually going to run through their own molly and get a 1-1 trade. Well, it's actually an enemy molly, but regardless, they run through the molly and get a 1-1 trade.
Fire is nobody's friend. Whoa, Yellow's just sitting here. Oh, he has it up. Okay. Yep. So a position to fall back. I thought he was behind the wood. Would have been much more of a precarious spot to be in. And Vice, the hero of last round, looking for that double entry out again. PKL might give him that kill if he comes sideways into the site. Depends how aware he's going to be, and Vice can't finish the spray, so...
Waiting on Showtime, but Showtime's made noise, so Vice knows he's out here. He's going to molly the pit. Cello, in the meanwhile, got another kill and entry. Wow, Vice just gets denied, and Showtime kills them both, as Wrath was also standing behind Vice. That's Luminosity with another round. They're 2 away from playoffs.
Key factor there was, even though Luminosity kind of went for lost one or 1 for 1 on banana control, they stayed there for the extra kill, and Yell, safely tried to hold on to some map control. Top banana would have been taken if not for that. So not only did they get the kill, but they hold on to it. Now are in a pretty good spot though. Rogue have another bye.
And we'll be holding back at the bottom of Crossroads now. I think they're expecting aggression from Luminosity this time, so they hold themselves back for a few moments in hopes of countering that. They actually are right to assume that there's a very heavy amount of pressure that's about to work its way down to the bottom smoke. There is that smoke there, but the great response flash. Cello didn't get hit by it, but he also didn't have his gun out, so he wasn't allowed to respond to it. Yell will be able to do him one better, though. Takes down Shinobi on the up and finds a second one. Wrath just comes barreling through. No support utility, anything like that. So basically just gives his life over to Yell in hopes of hitting a quick headshot.
Yeah, they really didn't have a contingency plan for this setup. It was a good flash, though.
But it doesn't affect Cello, so he's still ready to take this fight. Now he pushed back into the corner, but PKL can support to that. Takes down Cadian, stops the bomb from running away. And Vice
Oh boy.
Just realized that the A site was wide open, so that's a bit of a unfortunate turn of events in hindsight.
Yeah, I mean, they have the bomb, you know, they have the bomb in sight. They have smokes to just watch it pretty much for the entire game. And now it's just Vice here trying to fend off match point.
Vice is ready for a fight. There we go, gets one, spamming in, almost gets the second kill too, but obviously the expected result still comes true. Yell will take him down, and that's Luminosity on map point and playoff point too.
Yeah. So again, they do have to finish this in regulation. So, you know, the tie will not be good enough, and it is come close, and it looks like Rogue have just enough to have a buy up. So it's not an awful position to be in for Rogue, but it did get a little scrimmy there for a second. It was, you know, rush B. They didn't have a fallback plan, and they just started committing one by one when it didn't work out initially. So not looking too sharp.
Not at all, and this will end up costing them dearly. As now we go into what could be the last pause, the last round of the entire season here, folks. At least on broadcast. I'm sure we still have other matches going on too, but Luminosity up at map point here now. We'll look to close out. Rogue, as you were mentioning, still have a full buy to play with on this round. Slightly limited utility for someone. They got full mollies, full smokes. That's good enough right there. Luminosity will once again challenge at the edge of Banana. They're going to boost up too, which will be a little bit aggressive, but thankfully it works out for them. Due to the molly pressure, there is no presence established for Rogue. And actually, there's a hole in that smoke, but I don't think Yell realized it quickly enough. So misses the chance to kill Cadian on cross.
Yeah, he might not have been able to see as well as we could have. Who knows? But they still have, they've held on to B, and they have the 4 rotate to A, right? We talked about this many times. It's very important that you can fortify A this much whenever possible, and Rogue just didn't do a good job of clearing out Banana, so they're just going to hold on to this. They have a fast flank, and if they go back to B, Yell's got a free op shot. A lot of time to tell his teammates to come back.
Yep, and we'll be able to sound those alarms there and get the rotates over in time. But for Rogue here, they are going to proceed forward in a very straightforward execute into A. Time is getting a bit low, and without even having cleared out mid-choke yet, they're probably going to want to actually start to move in and take some control. CTs have smoked out the other side, so that may delay things slightly, but this is all shaping up too slowly for my taste here on Rogue. They are about to go into the gauntlet, so it's all going to rely on their entry power. Nekaz, along with PKL, all shutting down initial kills here. They hold in pit as well, down to Hiko and Cadian to recover a 2v5. Cadian dead without a single response, so it's all on Hiko, and he's already been seen too. Nekaz will take him out, and with that kill, Luminosity have secured themselves as the 6th and final team from North America to attend the Season 6 Odense playoffs for the ESL Pro League. Congratulations to them. They're heading to LAN.
That's really unfortunate for CLG, but seriously unlikely situation for Luminosity to make it. Huge wins for them. Congratulations. And, you know, that's what a crazy day. Didn't expect that final outcome.
Yeah, quite a few upsets, of course, throughout the course of today. And in order to break down all of that and give you guys the final standings on which 6 teams are going to be heading to the LAN playoffs, we'll take it back to our analyst desk one final time to close out the show. One final time. And, you know, a quick round of applause for the Warriors that we've had over there at the commentary desk. I think they've deserved that round of applause from you two. All right, waiting for it. There it is. Boom. All right, that's enough round of applause there. We have determined the top 6 NA teams that will be going to Denmark for the LAN finals, and let's just take a look at them now. We've got Optic, SK, Misfits, Liquid, Energy, Luminosity. Now, an interesting thing you're going to note here, guys, with this sort of shakeup, Luminosity go from 8th to 6th place today, right? Incredible feat by itself, given all the parameters that would take for them to get to the LAN finals. Now, B, Immortals go into a relegation game.
Yeah. Wait, is that? Wow. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy to think about.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, that. Wow.
Woo! All right, guys. Well, either way, having these 6 teams and looking big picture here, let's talk a little bit about just off the top. I mean, we've known Optic SK are going to the finals for some time now. Now that we have the other 4 teams locked in, confirmed, what do we think about what NA is sending to the finals?
Well, unfortunate for CLG and C9. I mean, a lot of teams probably expected C9 to make it, and also even CLG, because I believe at one point they were 4th place, 4th or 5th during the season, where they were up
4th place heading into yesterday.
Yeah, so I mean they were up there, and they just kind of dropped the ball these last couple of days, and That's gotta hurt.
It's more like, you know, when you hear the phrase ESL Pro League North America, you know, if you were to pick 6 teams, you probably have CLG and or Cloud9 in there, maybe both, at least one. Almost every time if you were to pick the top 6. Neither of them are there. Things are getting shaken up. This just goes to show you, right? Nothing's set in stone. Give your best every day, right?
You got to have hope. And for a team like Luminosity, who, you know, they had the least amount, you know, to make, or
they had the slimmest probability
smallest
in terms of like what they would have to do and what games would have to go in what way for them to make it through to land finals today. And of course, Murphy's Law, you know, it comes through, right? We're like, you know, it just always seems to happen. One of those low probability, like, events, and it does, sure enough.
It's such a weird thing when it comes down to this late in the season. Either way, we're going to load up a quick replay here for you at home, some of the action that we caught going into the tail of this CLG Splice game. Now, keep in mind, all that needed to happen here was CLG to stop the diffuser.
One more bullet. CLG got knocked out by one bullet, and that is the worst way to get knocked out.
Oh my.
Because he's going to watch the replay. They're going to see 7 HP. 7. Ricky is going to be dreaming about the number 7.
I guarantee you Ricky will have a skin in his inventory with 7 HP, RNG, thank you, baby, please.
Thank you, baby, please. Wow, so eloquently put.
Like, that's definitely a meme immediately, especially because it's counterlogical, right?
It's counterlogical, which is ultimately
random numbers.
The easiest way to look at that. Counterlogical, but not quite counterintuitive. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the standings one more time, so that we can completely sign off on this landscape, on this canvas that has been ESL Pro League Season 6.
Optic Gaming, SK, Team Liquid Energy, Misfits, and Luminosity.
So Immortals and Rogue go to the Global Challenge to fight to keep their Pro League alive, right? So they have a possibility of moving down. Ghost 100% gets moved down.
They're gone.
100%.
Gone. They gone.
So Complexity's safe. They're chilling.
Safe. They're safe.
They're sipping hot cocoa next to the fire with the little baby marshmallows.
Which is good, because if they got out of this league after Jerry Jones bought them, I think it'd be a little rough.
I'd like to hear that phone call.
Just go ahead and fire sale. Let's go ahead and look at EU now, because I believe that the top 6 here are also locked in earlier today. Fnatic, FaZe, North, Astralis, Hellraisers, and Ninjas in Pajamas, a team that has brought in new blood this season and found success. Yeah, and on top of that, G2 Esports, they are not making it the super team over there, and it's unfortunate because they have so much success on land than they do online, and so got to figure out how to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, the EU Pro League is even harder, right? Like that. Yeah. There's just the team list there is so densely like top heavy. It's pretty insane. Well, they could make like 2 Pro Leagues out of just that list of teams right there.
Even, I mean, to say big is being, auto-relegated is like, it doesn't quite compute right. But you say densely, I just say dense. That's right. We're going to be talking about the LAN finals over there in Denmark there for Season 6. If you haven't got your tickets, you want to grab them right about now would probably be a good time. I know they're starting to fill up over there, and it's sure to be quite the showing across the board as 6 of the best teams from Europe and 6 of the best teams from North America head in there to try to grab the biggest chunk of that prize purse. Either way, thanks again to youtube.com/ESLCS, where you can find all of the VODs and everything. You know what? Just find it all over there. youtube.com/ESLCS. All of the matches from this season, both NA and EU, are over there on that channel. And, well, you know what, guys? I'm going to have to ask you, I'm going to give you just some seconds here to say any words you have before I shut this bad boy down.
I appreciate being on the show. I had a lot of fun. I've learned more CS by coming here, watching it, being inside of the game.
Inside the game.
Inside the game. Pretty sure that was a quote somewhere from some tournament long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away. James, what do you got?
I don't want to take away from his eloquence. Just thank you, and had a good time hanging out with you guys.
Well, I personally want to say thank you to all the production staff, both NA, EU, even over there in the Clone offices. I know you guys are busting your tails, but not as hard as we are over here in this control room. I can tell you that right now. Either way, guys, that does it for us here for regulation. Our LAN finals are coming up in Odense, and make sure that you grab a ticket and/or just watch it over there on youtube.com/ESLCS. We'll be back with you soon, but not next week or the week after that. See you.